Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto is trained by Shinigami when he is a kid. Before I start, please support for more amazing content, and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by Random Writer 21 and link in description and support writer. Let's start the video. Chapter 1, To Catch a Thief. An old man with liver spots and wrinkles on his face, dressed in Hokage attire, smokes his pipe trying to calm himself over the reports he has gotten for the last 3 months. Apparently there has been a rash of break-ins at various stores around Konoha, but no evidence was found to determine who was the thief. The Hokage sighs as he closes the thick manila folder on his desk and waits for the man that would surely solve this problem. A knock is heard on the door. Enter Hiruzen calmly states and smiles when Ibiki walks through the door. Ibiki bows, you wanted to see me, Hokage-sama? Sarutobi nods and motions to the chair in front of the desk. Please, take a seat, Ibiki. After the man does so, the Hokage continues. Now I called you here to help solve our thief issue, as I'm sure you've heard of by now. On my desk is a report of every break-in from weapon shops, clothing shops, restaurants, and various others. I assume you already know what to do. Ibiki nods, his stoic face and attitude comes out. I will go over the reports to see if a pattern can be found. If so, I will see if I can catch the person in the act. I will report back with my findings. Is that all, Hokage-sama? Sarutobi smiles, taking the occasional puff on his pipe. Yes, that is all. You may be dismissed, but do hurry, as the citizens fear that their homes are next. Still in the stoic voice, I understand and will do my best. Ibiki bows and leaves the office to head down to TNI to see if all this could be sorted out. TNI Department. Ibiki sits at his desk with a lamp providing the necessary light to look over the many documents inside the folder. Everyone in Konoha knew about the thief, but the most affected were the ANBU, as they were pissed that some kid could outmatch them in stealth performance. Ibiki chuckles at the fact and separates anomalies from similarities, then reviews the cases for the next 3 hours. In that time he found a pattern between 3 cases and pondered that all of them had to be done at night when the store closed. Case number 32A. Date of crime, October 15th. Place, Higurashi. Weapon and clothing. Tenten and Dan Higurashi reported missing merchandise from the store and no sign of break-in. ANBU members Dog, Cat, and Snake went to investigate the matter and scoured the entire building for fingerprints, tool markings, hair, or any other evidence. After an exhausting 3-hour search, no physical evidence has been found, and how the person got into the store remains a mystery. This was the first break-in of the shop, but Ibiki noticed 2 other cases with the same report of no evidence found. The second was October 30th and November 14th, a 15-day span in between each robbery. The second store robbed had the same time frame in between incidents. Case number 45B. Date of crime, October 20th. Place, Akimichi Barbecue. Clan head Choza and son Choji reported stolen food and various utensils from the kitchen. No sign of forced entry was seen according to both witnesses, and again the ANBU team of Dog, Snake, and Cat were called to investigate, leading up to finding no physical evidence after hours of exhaustive searching. The next 2 robberies of this establishment would be November 5th and November 20th, but this was not the worst of the places that have been ransacked. The final place the thief managed to get into was said to be the most secure building in all of Konoha, the ANBU HQ. Case number 60B. Date of crime, October 25th. Place, ANBU HQ. Various ANBU reported gear missing from their quarters and the armory, including shuriken, kunai, ninja wire, explosive tags, and possible articles of clothing and masks. A mass search was done and surveillance video gone over to see if the intruder could be caught, yet no person were seen. Again, no evidence found to tell the identification of the suspect and how they got in. To add salt to the wound, the HQ was broken into 2 more times, one on November 9th and the other on November 24th. For the first month, September, the break-ins were random and were scattered around town. Places included markets, the library, and surprisingly the academy. Ibiki sighs and rubs his temples, wondering who this thief was, but one thing was for sure. Whoever this person was is a master at stealth and covering his tracks. Ibiki glances at his calendar and notices it is November 28th, which means that his next target would be Higurashi's store. Gathering the files, he turns off the light and heads home, ready to stake out to catch the person in the act and nip this problem in the bud once and for all. While walking home, Ibiki only had one thought in his mind. I would hate to see all that talent go to waste. A person this talented would be perfect for espionage and other things. Maybe it's time I take on an apprentice. Following day, night, Higurashi's shop. Ibiki was on a building overlooking his target with a notebook and pen in hand to jot down what he saw tonight. He just hoped his hunches were correct about the pattern in which the person chose their targets. 10 minutes later he sees someone come out of the alley looking around the area, then started to take items out of their ninja pouch, which was strapped to their right thigh. Ibiki was impressed with the person's garb. The person, who he deemed to be male judging on physique, wore black combat boots, black pants, black shirt, black gloves, black hood and pure white ANBU mask with the pouch strapped to his leg. Well, trying to find out eye color and such is out, this person knows what they are doing. I guess breaking into the academy and library explains his talent. Ibiki jots this down on his pad and looks to see how the suspect managed to get inside. The man took what looked to be a homemade grappling hook made with braid ninja wire with 4 kunai tied in at one end of it. Ingenious. Just who is this person? Ibiki watches as the man swings the device onto the roof and pulls taut. He tugs a couple times to make sure it's secure, then scales the wall and onto the roof. The man packs away his tool only to bring out what looked like a broken piece of a sword. Ibiki watches as the man goes over to the air unit and uses the sharp yet flat blade to pop open the vent and climb inside, replacing the vent before dropping down. Ibiki smirks as he jots this down. Now I see how he gets in and why there are no forced entry marks, but that doesn't explain how he leaves no evidence inside him. Ibiki jumps from his position and quietly moves over to a window and peers inside to see the man take sealing scrolls from the shelf and start to seal clothes and other necessities in separate ones. To Ibiki's surprise, the man never touches the money or cash register. Strange, why would he avoid the cash? Ibiki sees the man pause and turn toward his direction. He curses and quickly hides to wait and see how the man got out. He didn't have to wait long, as 5 minutes later he came out the same way he came in, but making sure to hide his tracks before leaving the scene. Ibiki decides to follow him to see where his hideout would be. As he followed, he realized that the man, no kid, was only 3'5". A kid is doing all this? Something's not right here. After 30 minutes of following, Ibiki finds himself in the woods outside of Konoha, looking at a very large makeshift lean-to shelter made of branches from the various trees, while the roof was interlaced pine boughs. Inside, Ibiki found kitchen utensils, various sealing scrolls, and a stack of books. The floor of the shelter was more pine boughs, but a sleeping bag lay atop of them. 10 yards away from the shelter was a fire pit, which Ibiki surmised was for cooking. He jots all this down and stays in the area for another 10 minutes, hoping to get a look at this kid, but he never took off his outfit. Ibiki sighs to himself and puts the notebook in his vest and heads back to Konoha to report to the Hokage on his findings. Little did Ibiki know that the man he was tailing knew about his presence ever since he got into the store. The kid chuckles to himself and starts a small fire. So, they are on to me. Well, I guess laying traps wouldn't hurt. Maybe some low-level seals to confuse them as well. Hokage Tower. Hiruzen Sarutobi was just about ready to leave the office to enjoy a nice rest until a knock was heard at the door. He groans in an irritated fashion and reluctantly tells the person to enter. Once he sees that the person was Ibiki, he quickly woke up and motioned for him to take a seat. Well, did you find anything? Sarutobi tiredly asks. Ibiki nods and smiles, pulling out his notebook and handing it over to the Hokage. Read my notes, and you will see how this child, who cannot be older than 7, managed to do what he did. I realized the link to the robbery at the library and break-in at the academy. It seems he used both places to get material to up his skills before committing his plan this month and last. Whoever this kid is, he is pretty smart, and it would be a shame to have him locked up never to use it again. Sarutobi is impressed by this kid's skill, but after hearing that he shouldn't be locked up, Sarutobi gave a stern glare to Ibiki. What do you mean not locked up? He broke into ANBU HQ 3 fucking times. That right there warrants life in prison. Give me one good reason not to lock this child's ass up for the rest of their life. The Hokage angrily spits. Ibiki pinches the bridge of his nose and sighs. Look, Hokage-sama. This person is just a child, and the way he was living shows that he has no parents, hence not knowing right from wrong. In all honesty, I would like to take this boy in as an apprentice, and maybe set him up for a position we have not had for years. Sarutobi chokes, knowing what Ibiki was implying. You're not saying subjecting this kid to the black ops of the shinobi world, are you? Ibiki nods. You really want to reinstate the Ghost program? We haven't had a member since Tobirama was in office. Ibiki smiles and claps his hands. I know you might not approve, but you have to give this kid credit, as he broke into the most guarded place in Konoha not once, but 3 times. Not only that, he leaves no evidence behind, and from what I saw tonight can live behind enemy lines easily and without anyone noticing once trained properly. The Hokage grabs his pipe, lights it with a small fire jutsu and puffs on it. With a sad voice he replied, You know why that program was buried, Ibiki? The people were subjected to the worst form of torture so that they could resist it if captured, and the people ended up going rouge or losing what made them human. It's unethical, Ibiki, completely unethical. I don't see why you want to subject a 7-year-old to this form of training, if you can call it that. Ibiki bangs his fists on the desk and angrily spouts, Damn it, Hokage-sama, you're not looking at the full picture here. If this boy is already this advanced in stealth and breaking and entering, just think what 5 years of training could do. Think of the missions he would perform to bring Konoha to its peak again, to tell us the position of any spies in our midst, or enemies that decide to go to war with us. Silence ensues for 5 minutes. The only sound is Hiruzen puffing on his pipe and his hum signaling that he was in deep thought. On one hand this could prove fruitful, but on the other hand it could create a potentially dangerous missing need which Konoha already had enough of. Sarutobi did see the benefits as well as the kid's progress so far. Reluctantly he sighed and nodded to Ibiki. Okay, you have a point and the ghost program will be reinstated, but for this person only. Do I make myself clear, Ibiki? Ibiki smiles and happily replies, thank you Hokage-sama. Now I suggest we apprehend our suspect and start with a full interrogation, don't you think? The Sandaime ponders again and shakes his head no, an interrogation at this young of age is not needed. Plus, I want to talk to our thief beforehand to see if he agrees to our decision. Forest, with our suspect. Our fellow thief just got finished setting his traps and seals and was now sitting by the fire calmly waiting for whoever was coming to take him away. The fire reflects in the white ANBU mask which hides the massive smirk on his face as he senses 5 targets incoming, one of which he recognized from before. So it begins. He mumbles as the Ibiki and the 4 ANBU start to make their way towards him. Ibiki tells the ANBU to hold, turning to them and sternly ordering, we don't know how talented this person is, so be on the lookout for any traps. Do this as carefully as possible and also try to apprehend him with little harm done. Hi Taicho! The 4 chorus and begin their trek towards the camp. Each of them spread out a distance so they could comb the forest yet stayed close enough for support. Ibiki finds a trip wire and looks around to see where it led to, but no such luck. After stepping back a distance, Ibiki chucks a kunai at the wire which releases a salvo of saban down where Ibiki was before. After sighing in relief he continues but soon hears the scream of one of his ANBU. The one nearest his position signals man down, trap, possible Fuinjutsu. Fuinjutsu, how advanced is this kid? The ANBU that was down managed to step on a well-hidden seal that sent a paralyzing jolt of electricity through his system. It wasn't enough to kill but enough for the ANBU to be out for a couple hours. Ibiki told one of the ANBU to take him back to base and return. Once that was accomplished they went back through the forest toward the camp. After another 30 minutes of disabling very well-made traps which activated others, Fuinjutsu which used electricity, and other ones that used the environment, they finally arrived at the clearing. Only Ibiki and 1 ANBU was left. Both look at the young boy who turns in their direction and waves to them. About time you came. Did you like my presence? He chuckles at Ibiki's glare. I'll take that as a yes. Please take a seat by the fire so we can chat. Ibiki growls, we are not here to chat, Gaki. The Hokage would like to see you before deciding your punishment. The boy scoffs. I read that a leader fights for his people and protects them, not sitting behind a desk and doing nothing like a coward. There is a reason I have hidden myself and done what I have done. People tend to fear what cannot be explained. The ANBU with Ibiki becomes confused yet angry at the same time. I don't know what you're talking about, kid, but I will not put up with the disrespect of our beloved Sandaime Hokage. The boy by the fire waves his hand dismissively. You said we were not here for talk, yet here we are having an interesting conversation. Ibiki sighs and palms his face. Look kid, either you come with us or we will have to take you by force. The boy nods and sighs. I know I am not able to match both of you in strength and surrender seems like the best solution, yet I have worked hard for all that I have gained, as you see. You stole all this stuff. The ANBU screams out but Ibiki silences her. Enough ANBU-san, you are making negotiations difficult. Leave at once so I may have a word with this boy about what will happen to him. But Ibiki-sama. No buts, ANBU-san, you are dismissed. The ANBU sighs and shuns out of the area. After seeing this, Ibiki decides to sit by the fire in front of the boy, his hand near his kunai pouch. The child waits calmly for Ibiki to begin. Look, I don't know what the Hokage did to you, but both of us have decided to put you in a program that was deactivated and not seen since Tobirama was in office. The Sandaime would like to speak with you and have a chance to look upon the face of the one who has managed to break into our ANBU HQ multiple times. The boy's eyes, which Ibiki sees that they are sapphire blue, squint in concentration. Pray tell, what will become of me after my usefulness is fulfilled if I decide to enter this program? Ibiki looks at this kid in slight amazement. 7 years old, and already very intelligent. It makes me wonder how strong he will become if he accepts. Ibiki clears his throat. That is for the Hokage to decide. So what do you say, will you come willingly or not? The child laughs, then calms himself, seeming I sense 4 other ANBU around me. I guess I have no choice. I would like for you to keep this place intact though. Ibiki was surprised at the sensory skills, then groans. You do know that we will have to return all that you have stolen. The child grunts in slight anger. Fine, I don't like it, but I guess I have no choice. Let me get what few belongings I hold dear before leaving. The ANBU in the trees see the signal Ibiki gave as the ANBU child went into his makeshift home. Keep his home intact, seal all stolen belongings and return them. The ANBU signal back showing they got the message. They had to admit the structure was well built and blended with the forest which surrounded Konoha. Ibiki sees the child come out of his home with the scroll, who then nods to him. Grasping the small ANBU by the shoulder, Ibiki shins to the Hokage Tower. Hokage Tower. The Hokage was tapping his fingers on the desk waiting for the culprit to come in. He cannot stop thinking about what happened to Naruto many months ago and wonders if he is somehow responsible. Deep down though, Hiruzen Sarutobi dismissed these thoughts as he saw Naruto in a good light even though he knew he failed to protect him. Flashback, 4 months ago. Naruto was in his home ready to go to bed after a rough day at the academy. As he sat on his bed he looked outside to see the sun starting to set and a beautiful sunset start to form. Naruto smiles then sighs and thinks to himself. 6 years of enduring the glares of the villagers, the occasional fox hunt, and getting kicked out of shops. My 7th birthday is soon and I still have no idea on who my parents are and why I am hated. I wish Gigi would just tell me instead of brushing me off. As he lies down in bed he smells what seems to be natural gas. Getting up he wanders into the kitchen to see the broken gas line and hiss of its escape. Naruto curses under his breath, mumbling something about terrible landlords. Knowing that he cannot stay here any longer he pushes his bed aside and opens a loose floorboard to gather what few belongings he had. Wallet, kunai set, spare clothes, and 3 days of food, yep, all here. Grabbing the items, he places them in the many pockets in his orange jumpsuit then opens the nearby window and jumps out onto the street. At this time, a drunken man sees Naruto and gasps. Demon! This cry alerted nearby villagers who instantly formed a mob making Naruto curse. He only had one place to run, the forest. Before he could start however a rock hit him in the head which started to bleed and dripped onto the ground below. A broken bottle managed to tear a piece of his sleeve off which a villager picked up then threw onto the small pool of blood. Stealing his nerve, Naruto ran as fast as his 6-year-old legs could take him while the mob was behind him. The village wall was near and he managed to jump onto it and drop down, running to the forest for safety. Bah, damn demon got away! A civilian states, another smirks and replies. The forest will kill him, but first I smelled an opportunity at his home. In the Kage Tower, Hiruzen was doing paperwork and was oblivious about what was going on until an explosion rang out across Konoha. Turning quickly in his chair, he saw a massive fireball where Naruto's apartment used to be. Summoning A and BU, they rushed to the scene where they found cheering villagers who were all apprehended. While the fire was being put out and the rubble searched through, the Hokage found the piece of orange cloth and blood and knew the worst might have happened. A blood test the following day confirmed the grave news. Search teams were sent out but all came back empty-handed. Flashback end. Hiruzen cries silent tears at the memory and gazes upon the picture of Minato and Kushina which hung nearby. It suddenly cracked and fell from the wall making the Hokage pale as it was a sure sign of a bad omen. Just as that happened, Ibiki arrived with the thief in tow who sent a glare towards Hiruzen. Thank you Ibiki, you are dismissed. Hi Hokage-sama. Ibiki bows and leaves via Shunshin. The Hokage smiles and motions to the chair near the desk. Please, take a seat, we have much to talk about. First though, do you mind taking off your mask? I wish to gaze upon the face of the one who has evaded capture for so long? The thief shrugs and grasps his mask while slowly pulling it off. If you wish to gaze upon the face of your greatest failure then so be it. The Sandame gasped seeing who was behind the mask and bowed his head in sadness. Naruto, I. Silence Hokage-sama. Naruto spits angrily while mustering a cold glare which no 7-year-old child should have. You have a lot of making up to do before you earn my trust again. How about we start with what is sealed in my gut? How do you know? Oh, it wasn't hard. Being called a demon, having my birthday on October 10th, and studying Fuinjutsu as well as reading about that fateful day made it all click into place. So tell me, why lie to me? Did you get off on watching me suffer? Did you hope that my pain would bring your wife back? Tell me. The Hokage looks on Naruto's cold and angry visage and knew that the old charming Naruto was gone. The villagers and his own oversight made Minato's legacy into the opposite of what the Yondaime wanted for his son. I did it for your safety. I was barred by the civilian council. I tried, Naruto. I really tried. Naruto scoffs and paces the room. Hiruzen Sarutobi, the god of shinobi, age 68, reinstated after the Yondaime sealed the Kyuubi into me, survived and helped lead Konoha through 2 wars as well as helped protect it during the Kyuubi attack. Where is that leader which fights for its village, Hokage-sama? All I see is an old fool wasting away and letting his village go to ruin. You will watch your tone, Naruto, or I will not hesitate to harm you. The Hokage blurts out with a commanding tone. Oh, like the villagers did to me? Did you know that the more abuse a Jinchuriki receives the more likely they are to release what is housed within? Sarutobi's eyes widen, which Naruto sees, making him smirk. I did not just steal from the library to help my skills, no. I made sure to read up on politics and such to ensure that if I decided to release the beast within me I could go to the daimyo and tell of all that has happened. I am sure he would like to find out how I am being treated, seeming I look similar to Minato Namikaze. I wonder why that is, Hokage-sama, care to explain? The Hokage narrows his eyes. You are not the Naruto I knew, you are far too intelligent for your age. Perks of being a Jinchuriki, Hokage-sama. Naruto says in a sing-song voice. Sarutobi pinches his nose. ANBU, what you heard I am ordering for you not to discuss it. Now leave as Naruto and I have much to discuss. The ANBU leave and the Hokage puts up silencing and barrier seals. Please sit Naruto so we can talk about this program you might be willing to accept in lieu of imprisonment. Naruto clenches his teeth and decides to sit, then smiles as he brings up a point. This program, I wish to know what it is, but with one added bonus. Which is? The Sandaime questioned. I get to kill any villager who wronged me and broke your law, which includes the civilian council. Hiruzen splutters. Naruto, I cannot allow you to do such a thing. Oh, like you allowed the villagers to harm me while getting away scot-free. I think I deserve some compensation. In fact, if you don't agree to this term, I will unleash the Kyuubi and let it finish what it started. Naruto states with irritation while spiking his chakra. The Hokage pales and waves his hands defensively. Please, anything but that. You can do what you want, just within reason is all. Naruto smirks and calms down a little. Good, and about this program, it better be of value or else I will leave this place, as I am a civilian who can come and go as they please. Naruto, how I failed you and Minato's wish. Hiruzen dejectedly thinks. Okay, the program is called Ghost, which was set up by the Nighting. The training included full interrogations, poison injections to gain immunity, harsh training regimes, and training to resist mind torture, among other things. People who graduated this program were young, very strong, and usually turned missing within a couple years. Others have died from this training. In fact, this is what Danzo's route is based off of, though we skip the emotion training as we feel that emotions are key in battle. Naruto hums and thought. So basically you are saying I become what Danzo wants me as, a weapon for your own gain. How do you know that? Naruto smirks. You just told me. The Hokage face palms and sighs at getting caught by that look. Naruto, I know the training is harsh, but Ibiki speaks highly of your skills. Hiruzen looks to the floor, then back at Naruto. I know I have been a terrible fatherly figure to you and I want to make amends. You will be under my control only so the council cannot touch you. Naruto's cold figure comes back. Say I accept this training, live through it, and then after I am retired, what then, Hokage-sama? You will live in Konoha as a respected citizen and all past crimes will be forgotten. In fact, if you go through this program I will tell who your parents are. Naruto scowls. Bribery will get you nowhere, as you already lied to me more than once. I see that I am done here and will take my leave. You will never see me again. Naruto gets up and starts walking to the door, but the Hokage calls out, wait. Alright Naruto, your parents were Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki. Both loved you very much and wanted the village to see you as a hero. Naruto turns and glares at Hiruzen with tears coming from his eyes. Yet you squashed that wish when you allowed beatings to happen and the council to trample all over you. You have become weak, Hokage-sama. A genin can kill a Kage, remember that. Please Naruto, I want to help you. I want you to feel happy in Konoha. Take this offer before deciding to wander the nation alone. The Hokage pleads while crying and praying to Kami above for everything to go alright. Naruto walks up to the Hokage and grasps the hem of the cloak near his neck and pulls him close. Naruto whispers, you want me to feel loved in this village? Well, you can start by announcing my full heritage and letting me get my pound of flesh from this village. Naruto throws Hiruzen back in his chair and taps his chin. In fact, think of killing all those who wrong me as training. I will accept this ghost program of yours only because of the strength I will gain and the fact I will be dealing with the trash you cannot seem to have the balls to throw away. The Sandaime smiles but frowns as Naruto adds one last stipulation. Oh, and I will not become a shinobi of this village until I decide I can trust you and this village again as my father did so many years ago. Naruto goes for the nail in the coffin. I wonder how Hashirama Senju would feel about what you have let his village become, old monkey. The seals in the room disappeared, giving Naruto the okay to walk out. Once he does, Sarutobi looks to the face of his sensei on the Hokage monument, and closes his eyes in sadness. He stands and picks up the cracked picture of Minato and Kushina, then hangs it back on the wall. Hiruzen gives one glance to where Naruto once stood as well as the open door and gets a twinkling in his eye. A fire that was diminished for so long flared up again. Smiling, he takes a deep breath and summons his ANBU back into the room. Tomorrow morning would be a day Konoha was flipped upside down, a day where the god of shinobi came back to right what he has wronged. Following morning, council chambers. Everyone was in attendance and waiting for the Hokage to enter. Everyone wondered what was so important that they all had to arrive here at 6 in the morning. Everyone was tired and just wanted to go back to bed. They are broken from their thoughts as the doors burst open, showing a fully awake and stern-looking Hokage. The shinobi side Holden smirks, knowing what that look was. Danzo, the advisors, and the civilian council however did not like that look at all. The doors close and silencing seals go up, surprising all. Hiruzen, why have you called us to this meeting at this hour? Koharu angrily states. The Hokage glares at the advisor. That is Hokage-sama to you, advisor. Say my first name again and I will not hesitate to remove you from your seat, is that clear? Sensing his killing intent, Koharu nods, which makes Sarutobi smile, then get on to business. He knew that if this ghost program would succeed that Naruto would have to be listed as deceased. Reaching into his robes, the Hokage pulls out many folders filled with copied documents. He signals ANBU to pass them to everyone. Now, as to why I called this meeting is to inform you that the action some of you took 4 months ago has led to a great loss. Sarutobi glances at the civilian council who start to sweat under the Ki glare, then back at everyone else. Open the folders in front of you, read them, see what I and this village have failed to do. Everyone does as told, and 5 minutes later the sound of gasping and tearing up comes from the shinobi council while some cheers and scowls go out. I refuse to accept these documents. In no way was that demon brat Minato and Kushina's son when they never married. Hamura scowls out with other civilian members doing the same. Hayashi slams his hands on the table. How dare you assholes plot against Minato's son? I was the one at the wedding along with many others. It was done in secret so that enemies would not find out. A fat civilian member glares at the Hyuga. Be happy we got rid of the Kyuubi and finished what the Yondaime started. Some growls. Be silent, pup, or I will rip out your throat and feed your body to the dogs. Before any more arguing could continue, Danzo speaks up. Hokage-sama, if Naruto did die, where was the spike in the Kyuubi's chakra when it came out of its seal? A new voice speaks up along with a body coming from a shadow in the corner of the room. It was the Toad Sage, Jiraiya. Minato was a great seal expert, so good in fact that his seal to hold the Kyuubi at bay would siphon the Biju's chakra into Naruto. Not only that, when Naruto dies so does the Biju. Do you see now the consequences of your actions? Not only have you killed the only one to be able to unlock the Namake's estate, but also our source of protection in this turbulent nation. Both advisors curse while Danzo was gritting his teeth while thinking about his plans. Damn it, it wasn't supposed to be this way. I was supposed to have Naruto under my thumb and have access to the Namake's vault. Damn it all to Kami-sama. Danzo suddenly speaks out, breaking the various conversations. Where's the body? Surely you would have a funeral for the Yondaime's son. Hiruzen shakes his head. He was missing for 4 months, Danzo, and just recently we found his remains scattered in the forest. There was nothing much to salvage, so we had no choice but to cremate him. His ashes have been scattered about the Namake's estate. It was a white lie that the Hokage hoped everyone accepted. Jiraiya was a little confused but went along with it. A little while later everyone minus the civilians, Danzo, and advisors accepted the fact that Naruto was gone and that the Namake's line was dead. Inoichi glares at the ones who disagreed with the papers and Naruto's death. I hope you all will see the truth, that or be killed due to the sins you have committed. Shibi, a usually stoic man, is now angry, which everyone knew by the loud buzzing of his hive. Are we done, Hokage-sama? I wish not to be tainted by the filth that sit before me. Come, clan heads, we must pay our respects to the one we should have looked out for more. The Hokage sighs and deactivates the seals. All are dismissed except Inoichi and Jiraiya. Both are to meet me in my office. Everyone leaves while Hiruzen leads the two mentioned to his office, where the Mind Walker and the Toad Sage get the surprise of their life. After dismissing the ANBU and setting up silencing and barrier seals, the Hokage began. Yes, I lied about Naruto's death for good reason. Please hear me out, but first I think Naruto should know something about you, my old student. Jiraiya nods and bends low to Naruto, who is sitting on the couch in the room. The sage notices the lifeless blue eyes and the cold frown and sighs internally, knowing the happy child he knew was gone. Naruto, my name is Jiraiya, and I am your godfather. Naruto keeps his cold visage up and states with an angry tone, you are no godfather, as you abandoned me all my life. I know what you do, Jiraiya. I know about your spy network and that you write smut. It seems that your job was too important to ever consider me, even knowing how Jinchuriki are treated. Inoichi clenches his fists in anger, knowing that if Naruto's personality did not change soon, he would likely choose a dark path and become emotionless to all around him. But I didn't abandon you. I was the one who gave you the apartment, the kunai set, and the wallet. Jiraiya states, earning a scoff from Naruto. Please, a rundown piece of crap apartment, rusted kunai, and a frog wallet. I know you could have afforded more. To make it worse, I never saw you until now. Like I told Hokage-sama, you have to earn my trust back or you will be added to my blacklist. The Hokage decides to stop here, but before beginning, a knock on the door is heard. Deactivating the seals for a moment, he asks who it is. After learning who was at the door, he allowed them in and reactivated the seals. Enko, Yugao, Hate, and Ibiki now stood in the office. Hiruzen smiles and claps his hands. Good, it seems we can begin then. Now, to why you are all here. Chapter 2, A Ghost Rises Part 1. Good, it seems we can begin then. Now, to why you are all here. Naruto has accepted to be in the reactivated ghost program the Nidame set up during his reign, with stipulations in place that only I will know. Yugao hums in concentration. So, I take it we are going to be Naruto's senseis and that all of what is talked about today is a secret. The Hokage nods, very astute of you, and yes, this will be a SS rank secret, which the punishment of leaking any information is instant death, no trial, nothing. Do I make myself clear? Everyone nods in the room, making Hiruzen smile. Hate interrupts with a coughing fit while Enko smirks at Naruto, which he returns with a cold gaze, making her flinch slightly. Now, the sandame starts for what you will be teaching Naruto over the 3 years. Yugao, you and Hate will be teaching Kenjutsu as well as thrown weaponry. Ibiki, Inoichi, Anko, all of you will be teaching aspects of interrogation and how to resist them. I am sure you know what tasks you are assigned. Jiraiya, you will be teaching Naruto Fuinjutsu. Naruto grunts. I refuse to be near my so-called godfather, as I have done well on my own by studying from books and scrolls on the topic. The Toad Sage looks at Naruto with a smile. Ah, lighten up kid, think of it as bonding for what I missed out over the years. Naruto glares at the Sannin. I think I gagged a little. Sarutobi chuckles. Please Naruto, it is part of your training. Naruto just nods while internally he is thinking the complete opposite. Fine Hokage-sama. But this program better be beneficial, or I will make do on my threat of leaving this village. Inoichi finally speaks up. Hokage-sama, Naruto's training might be more beneficial if he knows the shadow clone jutsu. The Hokage nods. Good idea. But before we get to that, can you add chakra into this piece of paper Naruto? That is if you have access to your chakra. Hiruzen pulls out a piece of chakra paper from his desk and hands it to Naruto, who scoffs and does as told. The paper turned a solid black and fell to the floor. Naruto had a shadow affinity. Huh, well that is most surprising. Naruto mumbles, then suddenly falls to the floor unconscious, not hearing everyone in the room screaming his name. Mindscape. Naruto looks around to see that he is in ankle-deep water with the sound of dripping water from the pipes above him. The place he is in resembles a sewer. At one end, Naruto sees a golden gate with a seal in the center of it. Yuck, who knew my mind would look this bad? I have to thank those books I read on Jinchuriki and their mindscapes. Naruto closes his eyes in concentration and changes the sewer to a massive forest like those which surround Konoha. The cage vanishes, showing the sleeping Kyuubi, the seal now around his neck like a dog collar. Birds are heard chirping as well as the scampering of animals. These sounds wake Kyuubi up. What the hell? Naruto walks up to Kyuubi and bows. Hello Kyuubi-san, pleasure to meet you. Is it safe to assume you pulled me here? Kyuubi nods. Indeed, but I seem to have fallen asleep. I can tell you have questions, kid, but first tell me why you plan on staying in this pathetic village, one that destroyed your father's wish. Naruto taps his chin, then forms a foxy grin. Good things come to those who wait. Kyuubi. Kyuubi grumbles about smartass jailers, making Naruto chortle. I would have thought to have a wind and water affinity thanks to my parents. How did I get shadow? Kyuubi grins, showing his fangs. I decided to give you a boost during this program you will be going through. I gave you the sensor ability, the high intelligence, as well as the shadow element. Why, you might ask? Well, I hate weak containers and I never intended on attacking your home in the first place. Naruto's cold demeanor comes back. Explain now. What have these villagers done? Whatever you have planned, kid. I will support you no matter the consequences. Kyuubi clears his throat and begins and tells the tale of how a man in an orange mask with a red eye put him under a genjutsu which started the whole fiasco. Naruto listened intently and suddenly got an idea. Kyuubi-san, do not feel sad about what has happened, as I do not blame you. Do you wish to hear what my plans are? Kyuubi nods and sees a rabbit go by. He restrains himself from chasing after it for now at least. Kurama is my name, Kit, and know that I will support you in any decision you make. Naruto smiles. Thank you, Kurama. So, Naruto explains what his plans entailed. It took a total of 10 minutes in the mindscape to do so, and by the end of it, Kurama was impressed. He was so enthused by it that he made a decision of his own. Naruto, I think in order for your plans to succeed that you create a mask, multiple personalities if you will. Cut the cold demeanor that you wear now and show the decrepit, waste of space, Hokage the old you. When the time is right, take it and show the others your true self. Naruto made a Cheshire grin. I like you better and better, but what do I tell the people outside? Kurama chuckles, which shakes the trees from his booming voice. You met me, I help with your shadow element, and I scared you straight to where a personality has changed. Oh, and tell that mind walker outside that I will eat him if he dares trespass in my domain. Naruto chuckles and rubs his hands together. So it begins. A great relationship this will turn out to be. As Naruto fades from the mindscape, Kurama sighs and shakes his head. Naruto, with my gifts and your heritage, may Kami have mercy on whoever dare cross your path. With this thought, another rabbit runs by and Kurama couldn't resist. He stood and stretched while shrinking down to a black bear's size and scampered off after his lunch. Back in the Kage Tower, Hokage office. Naruto groans and grabs his head. Oh, what hit me? Naruto looks to see a concerned Hokage and Jiraiya and puts phase 1 of his plan into action. Nejiji, why are you looking at me like that? Hiruzen's heart warms at hearing his nickname again. Naruto, my boy, what happened? You passed out 5 minutes ago and were unresponsive. Naruto scratches the back of his head and proceeds to explain what Kurama told him to. Everyone was in shock, though Inoichi was pale and gulped while commenting. Well, I think that mind torture will be out, as Kyuubi will be the one taking care of that. Inoichi sighs. Now what will I do? Enko laughs and slaps the mind walker's back. I don't know about you, But I got a new play toy, oh I can't wait to stick him with my kunai, those poisons. Oh man, I get all hot and bothered just listing the things I could do to your cute body. Naruto grimaces while Kurama laughs, she scares me GG. Ibiki smirks, you got 3 years with her, get used to it, and a word of warning, watch your back or she will jump your bones. Naruto his head to his side in confusion, making Ibiki go red in embarrassment. Oops, forgot you were only 7 years old. As Ibiki nervously laughs, Kurama sends perverted images of the many sexual positions Anko and Naruto could do, which makes his nose start to bleed and his face to flush. Jiraiya laughs at this and knows the fox is doing something. Wiping the blood away, Naruto smiles and keeps his alter ego up. Can we train now? I'm bored. Train me, give me the power I need to accomplish my tasks. Your faces will be amusing to watch once all the pieces fall into place. Naruto thinks at the end. Caverns underneath Konoha. Danzo, along with Koharu, Hamura, and the civilian council are sitting around the table discussing what went on in the council chambers. All were convinced Naruto was still alive. Danzo slams his cane on the stone floor, gathering everyone's attention. Now that everyone is listening, we all know that Hiruzen is hiding something, but we don't know what. I think we can all agree Naruto still lives and he is hiding somewhere. Koharu nods yes, but how can we find a child which has hidden himself for 4 months and evaded all search parties? One civilian member adds her 2 cents, why not just barge into the Hokage office and demand him to spill? Hamura smacks her aside, the head, insolent brat, think before you speak. Do you honestly think Hiruzen is not watching us more closely? Whatever he is planning, he has good reason to do so. Are you siding with the Hokage now? Another civilian member screams out. Enough! Screams Danzo, I have a hunch that the hideout I found in the woods is a link to Naruto's whereabouts. More banter would have continued if not for one of Danzo's agents interrupting. The agent whispers in his ear, making Danzo's eyes widen then narrow in disgust. He dismisses his agent and stands. Excuse me, some matters have come up that I must deal with alone. This meeting is over, but I will send my troops out to apprehend our target when the time is right. Time skip, day later, Tianai interrogation cell. Naruto was given a day to rest, and in that time, Kurama taught him some taijutsu, how to control his shadows a little, and work on some basic shinobi skills. Naruto was now sitting in a chair in the middle of the room. A table was nearby filled with various poisons, with an excited Anko standing beside them. Although Naruto was smart for a 7-year-old, he knew what was about to happen was going to hurt. Ibiki walks in the room and clears his throat. Naruto, your training begins, but before we begin I will show you the shadow clone jutsu. Ibiki does as he said, which Naruto takes 30 minutes to get down to an acceptable level, though it still needed work. Naruto wanted to get as much training done as possible, so he poured a lot of chakra into the shadow clone jutsu, which made 500 clones, leaving Anko and Ibiki flabbergasted. Naruto keeps up his mask. Oops, was that supposed to happen? Ibiki just shakes his head in amazement. Only if you have insane chakra reserves. Come on clones, let's get to work. Wait! Naruto yells, split up into 5 groups of 100 and head to your sensei. Henge into civilians to not arouse suspicion. Hi boss! They scream and head out to do their respective training. Ibiki motions for his group to follow to the training grounds near the TNI building, which had various trees and ponds in it for chakra training. While heading there, he stops near a door, then turns to the clones. 50 of you will head inside and read various scrolls on interrogation tactics, psychology, and other things you think might be important. You may be 7 years old, but I see you as a potential prodigy. I may be a mind sadist, but I do have a soft side. Good luck, Naruto. Ibiki opens the door, and the 50 clones enter to see 4 massive bookshelves filled with scrolls. A clone sees one about chakra control training, grabs it, and hands it to the group outside the room. Ibiki smiles and leads the clones out to the training field so they could begin day 1 in their 3-year training course. With Jiraiya. The group of clones searched for their godfather, and found him over by the hot springs peeping on the girls inside. The group grins and dog piles Jiraiya, making him scream out. Wah! You ruined my research! The clones cross their arms over their chest. Tough shit, my attitude may have changed, but you still have a lot to make up for. They all chorus. Jiraiya bows his head but cannot help but feel Naruto is hiding something. He pushes that to the side so he could focus on Naruto's Fuinjutsu training. The Toad Sage motions for the group to follow. After a 10-minute walk they arrive to a training ground, which is a clearing in the forest. Now, Gakis, Jiraiya begins with a serious tone. Fuinjutsu is something not to toy with. One wrong move and you could blow up an area, kill yourself, and do other unknown things. The clones nod in understanding while one speaks up. So, when do we get to make seals? Jiraiya smirks and pulls 2 scrolls from his coat. He adds chakra to them after unrolling them, showing a large stack of parchment, and a lot of inkwells and styluses. The clones deadpan, seeing the items make the Toad Sage laugh. What is that supposed to do? The clones chorus. In order to be successful at Fuinjutsu, you must have a steady hand and good calligraphy. It may be boring now, but by time the 3 years is over you will be a master at the sealing arts. If I see a kanji that is not to my liking you will do it again until I deem it is perfect. The clones just nod and start picking up the materials and wait for sensei to begin. Jiraiya starts listing kanji to write, and the clones get to work. With Hate and Yugao, ANBU HQ. The 100 clones, in Henges, arrive at ANBU HQ to see Hate and Yugao waiting for them. Both smile and motion for the clones to follow as they saw through the henge. After a few minutes of walking and away from various ANBU, they arrive at a training ground inside the base. Hate has a coughing fit, and after it subsides, he begins. We are here to teach you the art of kenjutsu and any thrown weaponry. Anything in particular you would like to learn? One of the clones hums and gasps. Boss, read about throwing knives, and I think he would like to know how to use those. Another clone remembers what Boss was taught by Kurama last night, and forms shadow blades along his forearms which extend past his hands about a foot. Seeing this made Yugao and Hate gape like a fish. Pretty cool, huh? The clone exclaims happily. Yugao becomes confused. There are lights in this area. How are you creating shadow? It should be impossible. Another clone scratches his head. I think QB said it was a bloodline limit, and I can form my shadows into solid objects, but light is still a potential weakness for other things I am learning. Yugao nods. Well, it seems you have your swords, which makes my life easier. Come, I will teach you the basics of kenjutsu while Hate gets your throwing knives. 3 years of torture begin now. With that said, Yugao unsheathes her sword and rushes one of the clones who block with the shadow blades, but then finds himself flat on his back with the tip of Yugao's sword pointed at its neck. The clone gulps. This is going to be a long 3 years. With Anko. Ready to begin, Naruto? Anko says with a sick smile while holding one of the syringes filled with the poison. Naruto shakes his head no, but internally, his cold demeanor thought otherwise. Just get it over with so I can get to work. Anko grabs 2 other syringes. Too bad, and since you disagreed I will have to make your pain much more enjoyable. With that, Anko injected the 3 poisons into Naruto's right arm at the same time, making him hiss in pain. Anko puts the empty syringes on the table and claps her hands in glee. Yay, you're doing good so far. Too bad those are only the weak ones. I cannot wait to hear you scream once I add the more potent ones to the MX. Dear Kami, she is crazy. Makes me wonder why I am doing this. Naruto thinks while watching Kurama eat a rabbit in his mindscape. Kurama looks up from his meal. Like you said, Kit, good things come to those who wait. Naruto shakes his head internally while chuckling as his words was used against him. He knew it would be a long 3 years. By the end of the day, Naruto had a slight immunity to certain poisons, mastered the leaf balancing and started tree and water walking, had a good grasp on Fuinjutsu, knew the basics of kenjutsu and knife throwing, and while sleeping Kurama helped with his shadow element, speed, and taijutsu. Naruto arrives at his home. The one Ibiki found him at in the forest, very tired and wanting to go to bed. He sighs however as he senses 2 people near his home. Alright you two, come on out, you can't fool my senses. 2 root agents drop in front of Naruto while one of them steps forward. Naruto, my master gives you the chance to join his forces. Deny his request, and we will be forced to take action. Naruto gasps and puts a hand to his ear. Do you hear that? The 2 agents their head in confusion, making Naruto chuckle. I hear my bullshit detector going off. I know of your master, I know what he wants. Naruto's cold demeanor comes back, and what he wants is against my plans. You know of me and I can leave no witnesses. The root agents went to attack Naruto but lurched forward with a choking sound. They looked down to see shadow blades through their stomachs. Before they died, Naruto took off their masks to keep as trophies and use for later, then whispered to them both. I will be meeting Danzo soon. Say hi to the Shinigami for me. The shadow clone disappear, which makes the bodies crumple to the ground. Naruto smirks and drags them to the border of the village so that the Hokage could find them later. Things were starting to fall into place. Once my training is complete, Phase 2 will start. Will we be ready, Kurama? Oh, I have no doubt, Naruto. I have no doubt at all. Day later, Hokage office. The Sandaime Hokage was not a happy person right now. Why? It was the fact that he found 2 bodies of supposedly missing Konoha citizens, one of which was from the Hyuga clan. Another fact was that the Uchiha complained about a missing member after he wandered through the woods yesterday. A knock on the door breaks his thoughts and allows the person he called for to enter. You may enter, Danzo. With the help of his cane, Danzo steps in, but with a bandage over part of his face as was one of his arms. Finally getting to the couch, Danzo sits and scratches his cross scar on his chin. You called for me, Hiruzen? Said man glares. That is Hokage-sama to you, and cut the shit. I want to know what you were doing with a civilian and a Hyuga clan member which went missing years ago. Internally Danzo curses now, knowing why the 2 didn't return. Something, possibly Naruto, he thought, killed them. I don't know what you're talking about. I disbanded my root program when you told me to. I think you are over-exaggerating claims without proof, Hokage-sama. They could have been missing Nin. The Sandaime sets up silencing seals and lights up his pipe. Danzo knew he was in for a talk. After taking a few puffs, Hiruzen began. Like I said, cut the bullshit. I had Hayashi give me clan records and not one Hyuga has been a missing nin in the history of the clan. Also, that civilian's family mysteriously disappeared after she went missing. Add to the fact that they were without a mask and wearing root-style clothing, I think you know where I am headed. Danzo sighs. Fine, I still have root up but it's for the village's safety. Any who joined me came willingly, plus you have no proof to convict me of abducting a clan member or treason. The Hokage sighs as he blows smoke from his pipe. Unfortunately you are right but you still disobeyed my orders. I expect to have a full list of root agents on my desk by nightfall as well as their skill set. Do I make myself clear? Because if this task is not completed you will be charged with treason and killed by my hand alone. Danzo nods with a scowl on his face. It will be done, Hokage-sama. But tell me, I heard rumors of Naruto being alive. Care to explain? Sarutobi keeps his calm facade up. Rumors are just that, Danzo. The villagers seem to want to atone for the sins they have caused. Danzo glances at the Hokage, trying to find a hint of a lie but could not find one. He mentally curses and walks out of the office. You may know about my program still being active, but I still have secrets that you have yet to unearth. Time skip, 3 years. It's been 3 years since Naruto began training. In that time, though he became immune to any and all poison, Kurama would halt any mind attacks. He formed his own taijutsu called Shadow Striker as he used the person's shadow to better disable his opponent. Jiraiya labeled Naruto a seal master, and it was all thanks to using 500 shadow clones every day for the past 3 years, which worked on chakra control to Fuinjutsu to everything in between. Hate and Yuga was impressed with how quickly Naruto picked up Kenjutsu, as well as using the throwing knife, which was a tool long forgotten by shinobi, and using his bloodline to make weapons when needed. Naruto came up with his own style based on his taijutsu, which he called Shadow Striker, which worked out amazingly. Ibiki, Enko, and Inoichi was extremely impressed with how well Naruto advanced in the 3 years. His interrogation method was a mix of Enko and Ibiki's with his own style added it. Enko seemed to get a kick every time he used the shadows against a person. It seemed that almost everyone was afraid of the dark, not to mention the uniform he always wore. Naruto was now 10 years old and stood at 4'8", wearing black combat boots, black ANBU pants, black long-sleeve shirt, gray tactical vest with 4 pouches for scrolls, black gloves with armor on the back of the hand, 2 pouches strapped to his legs, and a full-face Shinigami mask, story picture. On his right boot was a dagger which he could grab at any time. In his gloves were sealed 3 types of weapons. On the right was his throwing knives and the left was the saman coated in a poison that killed in 2 minutes. Both had a trench knife sealed within as well. His vest had 4 scroll pouches on the top, while on the bottom was 2 pouches to hold sealing equipment. The pouches held his interrogation kit, disguise kit, change of clothes, and rations. All the seals on his person, gravity seals, storage seals, protection seals, were all tuned to his signature. If anybody would try to get into Naruto's belongings, they would be killed by 100,000-volt shock. In the present, Naruto just got out of the shower, which was in the TNI department. He dried off and was getting dressed for the day. The training made his bright blue eyes cold and emotionless, his face forever in a frown, the whisker marks he burned off in which Kurama let him, and his once blonde spiky hair was a high and tight brown. Nothing would distinguish that Naruto Uzumaki was behind the mask if he was ever caught. It was time to head to the Hokage Tower and get his first mission. Although he was slightly nervous, Naruto sucked it up and grabbed his Shinigami full-face mask and slipped it on, then used a shadow shunshin to get to the tower. Hokage office. Naruto, in the shadows by the Hokage's desk, watched as he talked to his 2 advisors. The topic was about his whereabouts, making Naruto smirk as he had an idea of what to do and how to complete his stipulation he set up with this program. Hokage-sama, please be reasonable. Just tell us the truth on the whereabouts of one Naruto Uzumaki. In no way would that brat be killed due to the Kyuubi. Hamura explains. Sarutobi pinches the bridge of his nose. Damn it, how many times do I have to tell you this? Naruto is gone dead, all thanks to the ignorant villagers and my oversight on what you, Koharu, Danzo, and the civilian council were doing. Koharu scoffs. So what if we wanted that demon brat under our thumb? He is a Jinchuriki, a weapon, a human sacrifice. All his beatings were the good of the village, as we knew he would see it our way sooner or later. The Sandaime smirks, deciding to use Naruto's words against them. Did you know that the more suffering a Jinchuriki feels, the more likely they are to release the beast within? Both advisors gulp and stutter. We didn't know. Exactly. You 2 didn't know shit, and now Naruto, our Yandaime's only son, is gone because of your mistakes. I listened to you council members bicker back and forth ever since Naruto was born, and I realized 10 years later that I should have killed all of you on the spot. The shadows near the Hokage form into a human shape, and soon a frightening figure appears, making the advisors gasp and their eyes widen in fear as the eye holes of the mask glow an ominous red. The Hokage smirks. Oni, how nice of you to join me. I take it you heard everything. Oni, Naruto's codename, smirked beneath the mask and spoke. The voice-changing seal made his voice sound demonic. Oh yes, and I think I need to take these two to have a chat on why they did what they did. I will enjoy torturing them until they break. Their screams will soothe my soul. The advisors as well as the Hokage shivered. One thing to know about Naruto was that he had multiple personalities. His real personality was what he showed when caught at age 7, cold and uncaring. His fake personality, the old Naruto, was cheerful, happy, and didn't like to hurt. This personality was still there but only came out once in a while. Oni was sadistic, reveled in the pain of others, and was downright scary. Naruto grabs the advisors using the shadows in the room and teleports them to Tianai where he would deal with them later. A short while later he came back and awaited the mission. Now that you are back, I have a simple mission for you. Eradicate a bandit camp not far from here. I expect no lives to be spared as your identity must be kept secret. Am I clear? Naruto/Oni nods. Hi Hokage-sama. The Hokage nods and hands Naruto a scroll on mission details. Good, you are dismissed. Oh, and word of warning, all mission you do will be A to SS ranked. Naruto nods, then shadow ports out of the room, but it wasn't to do his mission. No, he had another stop to make as phase 2 of his plan would be starting soon. Caverns underneath Konoha, Danzo's office. Danzo was humming along going through paperwork as well as the thoughts on what to do about the Uchiha clan. The two advisors not showing up had him worried, which turned into slight fear as he heard a voice from the shadows. Hello Danzo, nice to meet you face to face. Who's there? Show yourself. That would be telling. The shadows laughed darkly, then continue. You see, I have plans but you are in the way of them. I would love to kill you right now but alas I feel the time is not yet to come. Carry on with what you will do, but know this, the Shinigami will be meeting you soon. All the lights go out in the office and two red eyes appear in front of Danzo making him stumble back. The dark laugh from the shadows ring out again, then the lights turn back on making whoever was there disappear. Who or what was that? I couldn't sense anything with my Sharingan. How troubling this is. No matter, if whoever comes I will kill them without mercy. 3 hours later, bandit camp, somewhere in the land of fire. Using the shadows of the trees to conceal himself, he looks at the camp to gauge how many are there. The camp is quite large as there are 30 tents all circling one in the middle. One this size would likely have an armory and prisoner tent while the others were for sleeping, the middle one being the leader most likely, but seeing can be deceiving. After walking around the camp he senses 150 to 200 bandits, one of them being the leader. Naruto advanced on the camp, hinged into a bandit, and silently creeps into the camp, wandering around to get a feel for the place when he accidentally bumps into one of them. Hey, watch it bub, you want a kunai in your eye. Naruto looks at the bandit and sneers, do you? Get out of my sight before I make you. The bandit smiles and pats Naruto on the shoulder. Oh, I like you well, see you around. Solid henge, real world experiment, complete success. Now onto the leader's tent. Naruto walks to the leader's tent and peers inside to see that the leader is somehow sleeping face down in his cot. A steamer trunk lay at the foot of it. Naruto looks around making sure nobody is coming, then silently unseals a throwing knife, walks over to the leader's body and stabs through the brain stem, killing him instantly. Naruto looks around for a place to hide the 6-foot man and notices the steamer trunk is large enough if the body was folded over. Naruto does just that. He gets done just in time as he hears someone calling the boss's name, which was Han. Quickly hinging into the boss, he greets the bandit. Hey Han, is it time to move on and gather others? Maybe kill a few genin squads and capture the woman for fun? Naruto smirks and goes over the bandit and pats his shoulder, then quickly snaps his neck before he could react and throws the body out of the tent. Naruto walks out and yells for all to hear. Don't question my authority, yeah, here. When I say we move, we move. Got it. One of the bandits speaks up. Hans, you feeling okay? You don't sound right. Shit. Naruto acts quickly and throws a kunai into his head, killing him. Anyone else wants to question me? Everyone around quickly shakes their head and start heading back to their tents, making Naruto smirk. Once nobody was outside, he headed to the armory tent still in the henge. Once he got in the tent he found boxes of kunai, explosive tags, and other weaponry. Naruto laughs internally and knows what to do. He heads back the leader's tent and seals up the body in the trunk, then went back to the armory and unsealed Han's body. He would make it look like an accident. The explosions would send chaos through the site where he would slaughter everybody but one person to get his name out there. 10 minutes later, an explosion rips through the camp, making everyone rush around in panic and confusion. One manages to drag the remains of Hans from the burning tent. As he was doing this, a salvo of kunai rained on the camp, killing many. Then from the shadows with glowing red eyes 100 Narutos formed their shadow swords on their forearm and began the slaughter. Using Shadow Step, the army of assassins jump into the nearby shadows only to use the enemy's shadows to reappear behind them and stab them through the neck. In 5 minutes, only one bandit was left alive. He was huddling in the corner as the army disappeared and Naruto appeared in front of him and grabbed him by the throat. You will tell everyone about me. but only the name I want you to use. Call me, the Shinigami Shadow. The badly beaten bandit nods with tears coming out of his eyes, then proceeds to pass out. Naruto returned to Konoha afterwards and reported his mission, saying that one got away. Hiruzen was livid and gave a scolding to Naruto, but he promised the Hokage that nobody would know his real name. Sure enough, Hiruzen Sarutobi got the updated bingo book the following day and saw an entry which described some skills Naruto had. Chapter 3, A Ghost Rises Part 2. Screams of two people, one male and one female, are heard in the TNI chambers. Who could be going through a grueling torture as of this moment, you ask? Hamura and Koharu are the answer, and it all revolves around the incident in the Hokage office before Naruto got his mission. Once he reported back, Ibiki told Naruto that he would use the old Kutsu as practice, so here we are in the present with Naruto enacting punishment on his targets. Koharu spits blood onto Naruto's combat boots, angering him. You won't get squat, your mask and your glowing demon eyes don't scare me. Naruto chuckles, his demonic voice resounding in the chamber. Oh, I beg to differ. We have been at this for an hour now and I grow tired of this pointless bickering back and forth. Tell me, do you know the one thing almost all people fear the most? Hamura grunts, and what would that be? Like I care, you won't get any information from us. Naruto grins evilly behind his mask, making Kurama chuckle in his mind as he knew what was going to happen next. Naruto nods to Ibiki, Enko, and the Hokage who were watching behind the glass. Ibiki grins and flips the light switch to the room to the off position. It was now completely dark. Hamura and Koharu attempt to see anything in the dark abyss that was their interrogation chamber, but no windows allowed light to filter in. What they heard next started to break their psyche little by little. Welcome to the darkness, my home, my playground. I want to play a game, 20 questions if you will. For every lie I hear you will acquire an injury. Each lie equals a harsher punishment. So, would you like to begin? Back outside, the Hokage's eyes widen. Damn Ibiki, what did you teach him? Even I am having a hard time not shitting myself. Enko and Ibiki stifle a laugh. Nothing, he just took Enko and I's form plus his readings and his own skill set, and made his own style, which I personally like. The Hokage shakes his head in amazement, and goes back to listening to the interrogation as nothing could be seen. A couple curses from the advisors went out, signaling that they did not want to play, but Naruto would have none of that. First question, what are your views on Naruto Uzumaki? Fucking demon brat. Both angrily spit but soon cries out in pain as they feel kunai pin their hands to the armrests of the chairs they are strapped to. Partly true, but the law is still in effect, so I would watch yourselves for now on. Naruto paces the dark room and hums. Second question, why are you worried about the whereabouts of one Naruto Uzumaki? Koharu grunts out. He is our weapon, and as such we need to keep tabs on him to ensure he is loyal. Hamura finishes. Once he is loyal, we will hand him over to a special person for training. Naruto places his gloved hands on the advisors' heads, making them flinch. He breathes into their necks. I find your words truthful, so no punishment will be had. Next questions. Who is this person you speak of, and are you in conjunction with them so that you could assassinate the Hokage? We won't tell you shit. The advisors roar out. A shame, that's 3 out of the 4 questions failed. Naruto's red eyes come from the darkness, freaking out the advisors. It seems I have to upgrade to poison. The advisors feel a prick in their right arms, and soon a burning sensation goes throughout their body. Naruto tells them what the poison does, but exaggerates a bit to get his desired result. I have injected you with a truth serum with an added benefit of my own design. This added benefit will increase your nerves, making each touch I make feel like knives rending your flesh from your bones, and also liquefy your organs in a matter of, I don't know, about 5 minutes. You lie. Both yell out in slight fear, a feeling Naruto basks in. Naruto grabs both by the throat and leans in close to their ears. Oh no, I am truthful person and usually very nice, but sadly for you I can see through your bullshit, making me very temperamental. He releases the advisors and asks the 5th question. What was your reason for speaking with the Hokage about the whereabouts of Naruto Uzumaki? The truth serum, the only thing Naruto injected them with, starts to work. Hamura and Koharu start to tell what their true intentions were. Hamura tries to fight but grunts out, we wanted to know where Naruto was so that we could execute him. Koharu finishes, making Sarutobi weak and in emotional distress so we can then assassinate him as well. Naruto walks around the dark room and hums, I see, but I feel you are hiding something. Tell me, who ordered the attacks on Naruto Uzumaki, and what was your ulterior motive for the assassination for the Hokage and the demon brat, as you so put it? Koharu sighs. We felt that Sarutobi was catching on to our dirty dealings with clan heads and Konoha itself. Hamura finishes with Sarutobi and Naruto out of the picture. Nobody would put focus onto our stealing monetary funds from clans and Konoha. And the attacks on Naruto Uzumaki? Hamura gulps. Danzo, the civilian council, and us met in secret and organized the attacks, hoping that the brat would become weak and beg us for help to become stronger. Naruto smirks under his mask and unseals 2 Senbon out of his glove, then sticks them in the center of the back of the neck. He explains what he is doing. What you have done warrants execution, so I will gladly do as such in accordance with Konoha law. What I have done is placed Saban on the main blood vein which sends the life substance your body needs to all your major organs to your brains. Once I release this, the blood that has now pulled in your head will rush downwards out your mouth, nose, ears, and eyes, a quick but painful death. Ibiki, Anko, and the Hokage closed their eyes knowing that the deed needed to be done, but having a 10-year-old do this was disheartening, which all three did not like one bit. Final question, is Danzo this person whom you spoke of? Yes, and we don't feel one shred of remorse for what we have done. Koharu speaks for her friend Hamura with an angry tone. Naruto chuckles. Well then, I have no further questions and I thank you for playing. Goodbye advisors, may the Shinigami enjoy your soul. With that, Naruto pulls out the Senbon, dropping them to the floor with a metallic clink sounding as they hit. He calmly walks out of the room, hearing the ex-advisors choking on their own blood. Outside the room, the door opens, making Anko, Ibiki, and the Hokage look at Naruto with grim expressions on their faces. Sarutobi walks up to him and puts his hands on his shoulders, then sighs. I wish that number 10-year-old had to do what you just did, but I thank you for getting the necessary information. You and I will be keeping closer tabs on Danzo, however. Naruto takes off his mask, showing his icy blue eyes and whiskerless face, but smiles. I have been trained by the best and can shut off my emotions when need be, so don't worry about me becoming an emotionless weapon for your gain. Anyway, I suggest you gather Tsunade and Jiraiya for the new advisors, as they know what the shinobi lifestyle is like. Sarutobi smiles and ruffles Naruto's short brown hair. I think you are right, and I have just the thing to get both to come back. Naruto nods and replaces his mask. If you'll excuse me, Hokage-sama, I have to go train, then eat lunch, though you can summon me if something comes up. Naruto walks into the nearest shadow, teleporting to the TNI training ground. Ibiki and Anko just shake their head, knowing that the harsh training has turned an innocent child into a deadly force and seasoned shinobi too soon for his time. Hiruzen sighs but smiles back at Ibiki and Anko, then shuns to his office to send out letters to both his students. They would arrive back 2 months later. It was then that they met Oni. Well, Swanda did as Jiraiya taught him all there was to know about sealing. Hokage Tower Office. A knock is heard on the door, which the Sandaime tells whomever to enter in his calming ancient voice, which was filled with wisdom. He smiles as he sees the 2 people he sent for 2 months prior, Swanda and Jiraiya. Hey sensei! They proclaim happily, but then see the stern look on his face. Jiraiya quickly closes the door and sets up seals for privacy. Thank you, Jiraiya. Now we can begin, but first, please take a seat, my old students. Both do with a slightly confused look on their faces. Sarutobi sighs at this and packs his pipe with fresh tobacco, then lit it. After a few puffs, he began. 2 months ago, my old advisors were interrogated, then executed on the spot after they admitted to wanting to kill Naruto Uzumaki, and I saw that it would put the village's mind elsewhere than they're stealing monies from Konoha and the clans we have. Also, they were working with Danzo, whom I believe you have heard about already. Both nod and stay silent, as they knew that when Sensei was talking this calmly, yet with a stern tone and his pipe in his mouth, it was a serious matter. Sarutobi chuckled slightly at how Swanda and Jiraiya reacted, but he happily puffed on his pipe and continued. As of right now, we have enough evidence to execute the bastard, but I believe he is hiding something, but that is where my special A&BU comes in. Before we get to that, there is a reason I called you back. You will become my advisors. This is not a choice. You will do so, or I will strip you of your title and label you a missing nin. Hi, Sensei. Swanda and Jiraiya agree with a sigh at the end. Sarutobi nods. Good. Now, on top of being advisors, I have other jobs for you. Tsunade, I am giving you S-rank pay to revamp the hospital and get our doctors and nurses up to the proper training. Jiraiya, you are to keep your spy system up and running, but make this as your base of operations and also set up a system inside Konoha as well. Any questions? Both Sannin shake their head, which makes the Hokage smile and motions for Oni to come out. Tsunade has a mini heart attack seeing what looked to be a 10-year-old kid meld out of the shadow near the Hokage's desk. Seeing this made Jiraiya and Sarutobi smirk. You called Hokage-sama? Yes, Oni, I am sure you heard what was going on, so to the point. You will help Jiraiya set up his spy network inside Konoha as well as anything else you deem necessary. Also, I wish to speak with you after my new advisors are dismissed. Oni nods. Hi Hokage-sama, and I believe that security needs a revamp. I have memorized the patterns of all security, even your barrier team and the gate guards. Their performance is severely lacking and there are holes everywhere. The gate guards sleep and play go fish, the NBU don't follow their route, and your barrier team just jokes around while letting the barrier fall for 2 hours without realizing it. Sarutobi blasts the area with Ki, making Swanda and Jiraiya sweat, while Oni just stands there unfazed as Kurama blasted Naruto with his as he slept. It was effective. In the process of doing this, Hiruzen crushed his pipe into tiny pieces. I was notified that the guards were doing their jobs, not this. Oni clears his throat. It seems that someone has been able to access confidential and top secret files from your office, and I have a hunch as to who, but we will discuss that after your advisors leave. Sarutobi nods and motions for Tswanda and Jiraiya to get to work. The silencing seals drop but get put back up as the two leave. Once they are back up, the Sandame opens a secret compartment in his desk and pulls out a manila folder filled with documents. Oni looks at the folder and points, signaling a may, at which Sarutobi gives the go-ahead. For the next 3 hours Oni goes over the files as Sarutobi does his paperwork. Eventually Oni starts to speak again. I see that you and the Yandames spent a lot of time trying to put Danzo in his place. Sadly, the only thing I found interesting is a person called Sai. No surname, no background, no family, nothing. He seems to be loyal to Danzo's cause and would like to question him if able. The Hokage smiles and drops the seals while Oni slides into the shadows. Using the intercom, Sarutobi tells his secretary to have an ANBU fetch Sai and bring him into the Hokage office. She signals back a confirmation, and within 10 minutes the ANBU arrives with Sai in tow. Sorry Hokage-sama, he was a little difficult to find, but nonetheless, Sai is here at your request. Thank you ANBU-san, you are dismissed. The ANBU bows and shunshins out while Oni uses the shadows to get behind Sai, then pinch a nerve on his neck, knocking him out before Sai could speak. He nods to the Hokage and heads back to Tianai, package in tow. Tianai interrogation chamber. Ibiki was walking down the corridors of Tianai when he suddenly saw the shadow to his right form into two humanoid shapes. He sighs and waits for Naruto and whomever to appear. Ibiki looks at the pale-faced boy, then at Naruto, and smirks. Got another one, I see. Oni nods. No need to ask, you can use the room 5 feet to your left. Oh, and have fun. Ibiki cheerfully adds at the end, making Naruto smirk underneath his mask while he led Sai to the room and strapped him in a chair. Hey Les, did I do something? Oh, this one's going to be fun, kid. I can't maim Sai as he holds vital information, and I caught glimpse of a seal on his tongue when talking. Those documents that Sarutobi gave me said that was a possible loyalty seal. Kurama's ears fold against his scalp in a sad manner, then pouts. I wanted to see some action. Can you at least bleed him a little? No. And to help you with your bloodlust, here is a Madara chew toy. A chibi Madara appears in the mindscape, which Kurama sees and smirks. Thanks kid, come here lunch. As Kurama chases his toy, Naruto gets to work. Before Sai can speak, Naruto puts Saban into either side of his neck, putting him in a death-like state. He opens Sai's mouth, pulls out his tongue to look at the seal, and hums in thought. He pulls out his brush from one of his pouches and starts to go to work. A little stroke here, a mark there, add chakra. Naruto puts his brush away and puts his middle and pointer finger from his right hand onto the seal and adds chakra. It burns away. And now to wake up our target to see what happens. Naruto takes out the Saban carefully, then slaps Sai across the face to wake him up. Wakey, wakey. Sai looks around with a confused look on his face, which Naruto notices. Where am I? Did you save me from that evil man? Naruto was surprised at Sai's behavior but replied quickly, you mean Danzo, correct? The man with all the bandages on his face? Sai nods. Yeah, that's his name, and GCK. Naruto notices something glowing on his chest and quickly rips off Sai's shirt to find a Forbidden Chakra Network Destroyer seal. Shit! Naruto quickly takes out his scroll of sealing utensils, bites his thumb and draws it across the scroll after unraveling it. He quickly grabs parchment and his stylus, which he dips in ink. Acting fast, he scribbles a negation seal on the paper, then slams it on Sai's chest while adding chakra. Seal. The seal stops glowing, making Naruto sigh in relief, then looks at Sai's scared and frightened eyes. Please, no more pain. Sai whimpers. Are there any other seals you know of that Danzo applied to you? Sai shakes his head, making Naruto sigh. Stay right here. Don't leave me. Naruto was about to leave until he heard this. Although he was supposed to be professional in this attire, Naruto couldn't help but see those eyes, those sad and depressed, lonely eyes that were like his many years ago. Naruto makes a clone and sends it off to find Jiraiya while he questions Sai further. Sai, I need to know what Danzo is planning, if you can remember. Sai thinks but then winces in slight pain. I'm trying, but something's blocking it. Great, a mind lock seal. Jiraiya better get here to undo that and any others, or my hopes of using Sai as a means to get information on the base is doomed. Call for the devil and he shall appear, as the saying goes. Sure enough, Jiraiya came with Naruto's clone in tow, which poofs away. What do you need, Oni? Jiraiya cautiously says, as to not give away Naruto's identity. I took off the seal on the tongue of Sai here, where his attitude did a complete 180. He went from stubborn and loyal to what I was as a child. That, and when I asked about Danzo, Naruto just pointed at Sai's chest, making Jiraiya's eyes widen. I need for you to check for any other seals, especially a mind blocker. The Toad Sage nods and spends the next 10 minutes going around and scanning for seals. He finds and destroys a total of 4. It was the Chakra Network Destroyer seal, Mind Blocker, Memory Seal, and a Kill Switch. Naruto thanks Jiraiya and the man smiles and nods, then poofs away, going to do the task he was originally assigned to. Naruto looked as Sai was holding his head with his eyes closed. He was reliving locked away memories. Soon though, Sai recovered and gave Naruto a sincere smile, then in a calm voice spoke out. Thank you, whoever you are. With the seals gone, I have relieved my life ever since I was kidnapped to what Danzo had me do. Call a council meeting with the Hokage, Itachi, Shursui, the advisors, and us, of course. There is something that Danzo has planned for a while, and there is a chance to stop it before it happens. Naruto's eyes widen behind his mask and quickly nod. He unties Sai, then shuns them to the Hokage office to set everything up. Council chambers, 10 minutes later. The Hokage, Itachi, Shursui, Sai, Tsunade, Jiraiya, and Oni were all sitting around the table inside a sealed council room ready to begin what Sai was to discuss, though Sarutobi had to get one thing off his chest first. Thank you all for coming, but before we begin, this meeting is a SS rank secret as Oni is in attendance. He is a special ANBU, and that is all that I am giving you for information. Want more than too bad. Sai, you can report. Sai stands and nods. Thank you, Hokage-sama. I want to first bring up that if not for Oni, I would have never gotten back to the way I was before Danzo kidnapped me. Speaking of the mummy, he is the sole reason of this meeting. Sai looks at Shursui and Itachi. Tell me, Uchiha-sans, have you heard about a potential coup that your clan is planning? Itachi's eyes go wide while Shursui sighs and nods. Yes, I overheard Fugaku talk about it about 6 months ago, but he went from a kind and caring man to bitter and evil a year ago. Itachi hums and thought, now that you mention it, my father has been acting strange lately. Sarutobi looked worried and motioned for Sai to continue. If you would explain, please. Sai nods and frowns, his voice growing stern. I'm not going to sugarcoat it or go into explanation, but Danzo has your father under a genjutsu as well as others in the clan. Disrupt Fugaku's genjutsu, and your clan should be free. Swanda finally speaks up. Why am I sensing a but here? Sai quips, do you want a prize? Everyone chuckles as Tsunade flips Sai off, muttering smartass under her breath. Sai continues in a somber tone. Yes, I fear that Danzo will realize this happening and send his agents after you, though that gives me an opportunity to sneak in the base and grab the documents needed to bring the mummy down. Oni speaks with his demonic voice. We already have the evidence to kill him. After I am done in the Uchiha district, I will personally hunt down Danzo and finish him off once and for all. And soon, my second phase will commence. He thinks at the end. The Hokage sighs. If you wish to do so, Oni, then go ahead and do so, as I will forward the evidence to the daimyo as to why we executed him. Oni nods, as does Swanda and Jiraiya in acceptance. Itachi turns to Shursui. Can you disrupt my father's genjutsu? You have the Manjikyu Sharingan after all. Shursui smirks and? You have one as well, buddy. He playfully hits Itachi on the shoulder, making everyone bear witness to one of Itachi's rare smiles. Yeah, but you have had yours longer than me, plus I don't think I can live with attacking my own father. Itachi sighs at the end, which Shursui silently nods, accepting his task. Jiraiya speaks up for the first time and asks a serious question to Sai. How can Danzo put Fugaku under a genjutsu that strong and for that long? Sai drops his head in shame and puts a teary-eyed gaze toward the two Uchiha. Itachi, Shursui, I am sorry to say this, but the reason he wanted this coup to be set up is so that he can inform the Hokage about it, then get you to kill your clan. After that was done, he would steal 10 Sharingan eyes and implant them in his bandaged arm that supposedly contains Hashirama's genes. What? Everyone blurts out, not believing what they are hearing. And that's not the worst part. Underneath that bandage on his face is a Sharingan eye. At first he was going to kill you, Shursui, to get it, but instead used one from a clan member that stumbled into his base by accident. The Sandaime puts his hands over his face and drags them down with a heavy sigh. In a sad and depressed tone, one which shocked all to see the Hokage use, he slowly barked out orders. Itachi, Shursui, Oni, head to the Uchiha district and disrupt the genjutsu and take out any root if they show up. Sai, you are to help Oni into the root base once fighting stops. Swanda, Jiraiya, you are to stand by while I gather the shinobi side of the council to discuss plans to rid of Danzo once and for all. Oni snaps his head over to his superior. Hokage-sama, please tell me you aren't going to do what I think you are doing. The Hokage nods, making everyone else look at him and wonder. Yes, as of now Konoha is under martial law, nobody goes in and nobody goes out. If anyone disrespects my authority, and or orders, I will kill them myself, as I have no tolerance for excuses. As of this moment I declare Konoha to be at civil war. You have your tasks dismissed. Hi Hokage-sama. Everyone else choruses and head off to do their tasks while Oni smirks beneath his mask. Martial law, complete lockdown. Oh, this makes my job so much easier. Indeed, Kit, I look forward to helping you. Are you still working on that seal by any chance? Yes, but it is far from completion. Once it is completed, though, nobody will stand a chance against my might. Uchiha District, 5 minutes later. Oni looks at Itachi and Shursui and nods, then melds into the shadows, given the mental note that I will always be watching. The two Uchiha smirk and head to Fugaku's home to get the deed done once and for all. Both knew that with these events a new Uchiha clan would rise. They eventually get to the door and knock. They hear someone grumbling and heading to the door, making sure Sui hide for a moment and ready to strike. The door opens and once Fugaku lays eyes on Itachi, his eldest son, he growls. "Where have you been, boy? You need to keep away from those ANBU duties of yours as they make you weak and attached to this pathetic village." Itachi levels a glare with his father, then to the surprise of Fugaku, Shursui, Oni, whom was hiding in the shadows nearby, and Mikoto, who just walked by to see what the commotion was about, slapped him across the face. "You bastard! How dare you disrespect the village that our ancestor Madara helped build? He may have left our clan, but he still gave Konoha life." Itachi grabs Fugaku by the throat and slams him against the wall, then knees him in the stomach hard. The man splutters and Mikoto screams, telling Itachi to stop it with tears coming out of her eyes. She tried to run up and stop it, but a shadow stopped her movement. A whisper of shadow imitation technique is heard, but where it came from was impossible to detect. At this point, Shursui walks through the door and towards Fugaku. Itachi keeps a hold on his father's neck but steps aside to allow his friend to do the task. Sasuke came running in at this point, but he too was halted by the same technique Mikoto was in. Shursui turns his eyes into the MS and whispers to Fugaku, "Look into my eyes." The man attempted to turn away, but Itachi used his free hand to make it so his father did. Fugaku gasped as he took sight of the MS but then began to scream in pain as Shursui said one word to bring their clan back to the way it once was: release. Itachi let go of his father, who wobbled on his feet and collapsed to the ground. Oni let Mikoto and Sasuke go, making them instantly run up to Fugaku, who was currently on the floor in the fetal position sobbing, to comfort him. A soft hand is felt on his cheek, which he looks up to see Mikoto's black eyes. "I'm so sorry, Mikoto, I'm sorry, so sorry," Fugaku mumbled out, now crying harder than ever. Mikoto was about to ask what Itachi and Fugaku did, but an explosion ripped through the northern quadrant of the Uchiha district, followed by the sounds of fighting. Itachi and Shursui knew what to do. They told Mikoto and Sasuke to stay put and shined away to support the battle that just started. The civil war had begun. The fighting was going on for 30 minutes and the enemy seemed relentless, but for every near-fatal blow the root would do, the Uchiha would watch their foe be engulfed in their own shadow, then fall to the ground in bloody chunks. A whisper on the wind, which couldn't be pinpointed, eerily stated consuming apparition. The Uchiha that witnessed this were scared out of their minds, but soon noticed the voice that came with the attacks never harmed them. They realized whatever this entity was, it meant to help, not hurt. Rumors after today would speak of a ghost in the Uchiha district that protected them from evildoers, and thus the mystery or legend of the ghost of Konoha was born. Itachi blocked a sword strike from a root, then turned his eyes into the MS and whispered Amaterasu. The black flames incinerated the person who never had the chance to scream. Itachi dodged a decapitating slash from another root ANBU, then kicked back, hoping to hit the person in the knees, but the root member jumped back and was about to strike when a hand rose from the shadows with a kunai in it and slit their Achilles tendon, making them fall to the ground screaming in pain. Itachi thanked Oni and stabbed his opponent in the head. It was like this for many of the Uchiha, but Naruto knew that the enemy all had to come from somewhere, and quickly sped off to where the explosion happened. Here he found the remains of a building and the steel door that once covered the covert entrance of the root base. The seals were incinerated in the blast. Acting fast as he heard more people coming, he reached into his right pouch on his leg and grabbed 4 of his homemade high explosive tags and threw them into the hole. He melded with one of the nearby Uchiha's shadows, then whispered boom, and 4 muffled blasts followed by screams were heard, followed by a small plume of dust rising from the now blocked hole. There were only 40 root ANBU left, so Naruto decided to have some fun. Creating shadow blades that coated both his forearms, he used Shadow Step on the shadows of each person whom was standing and fighting, and popped up and slit the root ANBU's throat, then jumped again. The speed was too fast for anyone to get a lock on what the person who did this looked like. This continued for 1 minute, and soon all 40 were gone, all with their necks slit by an unknown foe. The only thing that signaled someone was there was a whisper. The attack name chilled everyone to the core. Death's embrace. Everything goes quiet for a while, and then cheers ring out around the Uchiha district as they realize that their enemy was gone. Back at the Fugaku household, the man smiled and thought to himself one thing. I may have failed before, but I'll be damned if I fail again. Itachi, Shursui, thank you for releasing me from my prison and giving me the second chance to make this clan proud. The curse of hatred will no longer live on. A new day and age has come for the Uchiha. Council chambers, shortly after the battle. So, are we all in an agreement of what must be done then? The clan heads nod and they all stand up one by one after hearing what was going on and what was to be done for the 45 minutes. They each made their decree. The Hyuga will fight to bring Danzo to justice. Hayashi proclaims with anger laced in his voice. The Inuzuka will gladly help to bring this bastard to the hell he belongs in. Some snarls. The Akimichi will assist in this endeavor. Choza proudly states. Troublesome, The Nara will also commit the necessary resources. Shikaku lazily drawls. The Yamanka will also help as I wish to help any root captured return to a normal life. Inoichi sternly vows. Fixing his glasses, Shibi goes next in his usual monotone voice. It is only logical that we assist you, Hokage-sama. The Aburame agrees. Before the Hokage can finish, the door opens, making everyone see a smiling Fugaku with red, puffy, tear-stained eyes. The Uchiha also agree, and I have to thank my son and Shursui for getting me out of the Genjutsu. Danzo had me in to control my actions. We fight to bring down this bastard so that all of us can come together to make Konoha stronger, and show those who dare challenge us why we have survived through so many wars. My clan is not the only one that will change because of the actions we will take, but Konoha will as well. Sarutobi, Tsunade, Jiraiya, and the clan heads all smile and raise their fists in the air and scream for Konoha, for the will of fire. Soon after, the meeting was dismissed, but the Hokage stayed behind as Sai had yet to report on the entrances to the root base. He didn't have to wait long, as 5 minutes after the meeting Sai arrived. Sir, Oni has infiltrated the base and will map it out before striking Danzo down. Are the clans ready for attacking tomorrow, as I have a scroll detailing all the entrances? I disabled the henge detection, chakra detection, and any other seals around them. Hiruzen nods and smiles as he takes the scrolls Sai pulled out of his vest. Yes, and I have no doubt Oni will get the job done. You are dismissed. Hi, Hokage-sama. Sai states, then leaves the room, making the old Hokage sigh. Naruto, you have grown so much since the start of the training, but I have yet to find the real reason why your cold demeanor changed suddenly to a bright and happy one after you first met Kyuubi. What are you hiding, Naruto? I must talk to him when this situation is over. Chapter 4, Snuffing Out a Shadow. It has been a day after the meeting. It is early morning. The air is crisp and cool, the sun just rearing above the brightening sky, which shows hues of orange and red. For the clans of Konoha, this would be a day long remembered, as they would bring down a foe that dared undermine the integrity and safety of Konoha. For Naruto, or Oni, this would be a day remembered for taking his plans to the next step. Speaking of our little Shinigami, he was currently covered by shadows taking a power nap near Danzo's office. After mapping out the base, he sent a clone which notified the Hokage and Sai. A map was made and given to each of the squads. Suddenly, Naruto is awaked by Danzo cursing and breaking things in his office. Danzo must have just realized that his advisors were executed and Sai was not his to control anymore. The office door bursts open in a shower of toothpicks and a royally pissed Danzo stomps out of the room. One of his agents comes up to greet him but gets backhanded in the face and slams onto the wall, knocking the agent out. As Danzo goes further into his base, Naruto takes this opportunity and makes a clone, then uses the knocked out agent's clothing and mask to see what Danzo wanted. Orders, boss? The clone whispers. Find out what Danzo wants and do as told. I will be following behind. The clone nods and runs off while Naruto follows in the shadows. The fighting would soon begin. With Danzo. Danzo arrives in his meeting room, which has a large table in the center of the spacious room. Around the table are 8 chairs, just enough for Danzo, the advisors, and the 6 civilian council members. On the table were maps of Konoha with red circles denoting the entrances and exits to the base. Also on here was a map of the elemental nations. On the walls were maps of each village, small and large: Konoha, Kumo, Iwa, Kiri, Suna, Taki, Iron, etc. All the maps were heavily detailed and showed possible entrances to them so that missions could be done without alerting guards. Danzo spots one of his agents walk by and calls. Agent 132 front and center. The agent, Naruto's clone, bows and dons in a motionless voice. Your orders, Danzo-sama? Go to my office and destroy everything, experiment notes, training notes, everything. As you wish, Danzo-sama. The clone walks to his destination, but he was not going to do as told. He would seal them up for later use. Outside Hokage Tower. The clan heads and some of their best members were gathered at the base of the Hokage Tower waiting for Sai to escort them. The Sandaime was currently in his office protected by his ANBU as well as Jiraiya and Swanda. Sai soon appears, making everyone go silent, making some ink clones to help the former root agent begins. Either I or my clones will be taking you to one of the entrances to the root base. I deactivated the seals in each so passage will be easy, but the base is usually heavily guarded. Some of these will be your own clan members, so I know the hesitation some of you will make to kill. Sai pauses to let them digest that, then continues. I see you are all ready. Hayashi, I will escort you to an entrance near the academy. The rest of the clan heads, please follow my clones. Everyone nods and does as told. The fighting would soon begin. The clan heads and their squad were led to separate entrances: the stadium, an abandoned warehouse in the red light district, a secret entrance near the Kage Tower, one near the Hyuga compound, and one on the outskirts of the Uchiha compound. Once they reached the entrance, they used their microphones, which were in their ears. Hyuga in position. Inuzuka in position. Uchiha in position. Yamenka in position. Aburame in position. Akimichi in position. Nara in position. Sai's voice comes on. Good, we commence attack in 3, 2, 1. Attack! Simultaneously, each clan squad enter the base, catching many off guard. The sound of steel meeting steel is heard as well as the explosions of jutsu. The base shook at times, and it was this that caught Danzo off guard. With Danzo was sitting in one of his chairs mulling over his failures when the base suddenly shook, followed by the screams of the dying and injured. Cursing, he was about to get up when felt a presence behind him. Hello Danzo, do you remember me? You're that voice from before, who are you? Naruto chuckles, that would be telling. Danzo growls and spins around hoping to land a punch but hits nothing but air. As Danzo looks for the intruder, he fails to realize Naruto appear behind him thanks to his shadow. Danzo lurches forward as a throwing knife is plunged into the back of his skull, but Naruto gains a shock when Danzo turns to wood and collapses to the floor. Wood clone! Naruto turns just in time while raising his shadow blades which block Danzo's cane sword. After making his eyes flash red for intimidation, Naruto lifts his hands which parry Danzo's blade, then goes in for a couple stabs and bifurcating slashes. Danzo expertly dodges these and jumps over the slashes, making Naruto slightly angry, but he keeps his emotions in check. As Danzo was about to retaliate, Naruto unsealed a large amount of Saban and threw some at the War Hawk while throwing some in the air, which took out the lights. Danzo managed to dodge the Saban, but when the room went pitch black, he had flashbacks to the day in the office. The War Hawk was afraid. All of a sudden a demonic lullaby sang out in the room. 1, 2, Shinigami's coming for you. 3, 4, to harvest your soul. 5, 6, add some blood to the mix. Danzo grunts in pain as he feels himself stabbed in multiple places on his body. He tries to find the source of the song but cannot see through the cavern-like darkness. 7, 8, death is your fate. Danzo tries to dodge or block any incoming attack, but it proves useless, and he gets stabbed and slashed multiple times. 9, 10, let's play again. Right as Naruto was going to go in for the killing blow, Danzo had enough and finally blew his top. Your antics don't scare me. Wood release, nativity of a sea of trees. The ground starts to shake and multiple trees come to life and grow up to the top of the base, and continue onward, which makes the ceiling cave and adding extra danger to the jutsu. Outside, the town square in Konoha suddenly shakes, making people run for their lives. As soon as they got a certain distance away, the jutsu burst and continued to grow but stopped when 5 feet into the air. Some homes and businesses were damaged, but luckily no lives were lost. Back at the base, Naruto dodged, slashed, and used exploding tags to get rid of the falling debris as well as any trees that came his way. Danzo used this distraction to land a hit on Naruto, which made him slam into a tree back first. Just as Naruto was about to recover, Danzo threw multiple wind blades at him which sliced up Naruto's arms while some stabbed deep into his chest. Shit, Kurama. Yeah, I got it. I'm on healing duty, pathetic hairless ape. Love you too, fuzzball, Naruto sarcastically replied back while panting and watching Danzo get closer with a lecherous grin on his face. Now, let's just see who is under that mask. Danzo reaches for the mask, but when he touches it, seals activate, shocking him. The War Hawk screams in agony as 100,000 volts course through his body, then goes flying into a nearby tree. Much to Naruto's dismay, the man somehow survived. Naruto sunk into the shadows, silently working his way to Danzo. Speaking of the mummy, he shakes his head to recover, but his vision is slightly blurry. That is when he is kicked off the branch and slams into the concrete floor below, breaking one of his shoulders. Still on the ground, Danzo summons Baku, an elephant, snuffleupagus-looking creature. Baku, you know what to do. Baku roars out and opens his mouth, proceeding to suck everything in the vicinity towards his maw. Naruto saw this and tried to go against it, but the force was too great. Soon, he is off his feet and flying toward Baku's mouth. He thinks one last thing before being eaten. This is just not my day. With the Konoha forces. Once the clans entered, with various Konoha Anbu, Chunin, and Jounin behind them, they were met with heavy resistance. Much to everyone's dismay, trying to save them was out of the question, as their loyalty to Danzo, thanks to his seals, was uncanny. The Konoha shinobi steeled their hearts though, and did what many would be unthinkable, killing their own potential comrades. The fighting was brutal, and that was putting it lightly. The root agents used ninjutsu, taijutsu, and potent jutsu meant to work in confined spaces like the base they were in, which gave them a slight advantage. Even though the fighting was cramped, the Konoha shinobi prevailed onwards and showed their strength like they did in the past 3 shinobi wars. For 2 clans, however, there was a reunion to be had. Shibi and Inoichi were fighting back to back. One was using their bugs to strip an attacker of their chakra or rend the flesh from their bones. The other was making agents attack each other. At times they had to resort to taijutsu while dodging the occasional swing of a ninjutsu, but all in all the 2 clan heads proved their worth. That was until two familiar voices entered the fray. Fu? Inoichi questioned, with Shibi doing the same to seeing a familiar face. Torian? You are trespassing dash. Fu starts with Torian finishing. Leave or be killed. Fu, snap out of it. Don't make me have to kill one of my clan members. Shibi looks at Inoichi. The seals are making them loyal to Danzo, my friend. It would be illogical to try and convince them otherwise. No words are said, and Torian covers his body with nanoinsects, making his body turn purple while Fu tries to gain control of Inoichi's mind. Said Yamanka counters the technique and both rush in with an intense taijutsu bout, with Torian doing the same. Shibi ducks underneath punches and jumps over kicks, knowing that getting hit could be fatal, as his hive said the insects covering Torian were highly toxic. Eventually, Shibi gets hit by Torian's poison cloud technique but dissolves into bugs, signaling a bug clone. Appearing behind Torian, Shibi sends a torrent of his insects at him. The root agent senses them coming and draws his ninja to then use a technique all root agents were trained, assassination technique. Using fast slashes, Shibi's cloud of bugs is decimated, and soon the clan head had to double back, making sure not to get hit. Touching Torian is out of the question, but how to defeat him? Shibi gets an idea. Inoichi, mind transfer. Said clan head ducks under a punch, then grabs Fu's outstretched arm and tugs forward, grinding his knee into Fu's solar plexus, making him gag for breath. Inoichi looks over to see what Shibi wanted and instantly knew what to do. Mind transfer technique. Torian's body suddenly stops fighting Shibi and turns towards Fu, who was cursing inside. While Shibi took a short breather, he watched as the two agents went at it. Fu tried to break Inosahai's technique, but Torian would stop him at any attempt. Eventually, Fu makes a mistake and gets hit in the face with a poison cloud. Fu suddenly backs away, grabbing his throat, and screams as blood pours out of his eyes, ears, nose, and mouth, the devastating nanobugs doing their job. Within a minute, the Yamanka falls to the ground dead. Inoichi keeps in control, making Torian pick up Fu's ninjutsu and commit suicide with a quick stab through the heart. Inoichi ends the technique and cries silent tears, with Shibi comforting him. This day will not be without hardship and loss, my friend. Why? This is war. This is the way of shinobi life. With Naruto and Danzo. Naruto, from inside Baku's stomach, could hear Danzo cackling, saying he has won and his plans would come to fruition. This is gross, yeah, definitely not my day today. Naruto puts his hands together and charges a shadow ball between them, with a little of Kurama's chakra added in for destructive capabilities. Hope you like indigestion, you piece of shit. Chaos ball. With this thought, Naruto slams the ball to his right, which explodes with such ferocity that only bloody chunks are left of Baku. Naruto saved himself by covering himself with his shadow armor, which was now useless thanks to the open ceiling, making light shine through. Of course, this explosion makes Danzo stumble back, which Naruto took advantage of. Taking his boot dagger, he lunged forward and plunged it deep into the Warhawk's stomach over and over again. Spewing out blood from the stomach region and mouth, Danzo blows wind out of his mouth, pushing Naruto away. Damn you, boy! Danzo drops to the floor, coughing up blood while putting a glowing green hand across his stomach, healing it enough so he could fight. All my plans ruined because of you. Danzo stands up shakily and does wind release, vacuum serial waves, hoping to kill the person in front of him, but the jutsu was far weaker than anticipated thanks to the wounded stomach. It only felt like a slight breeze to Naruto. What a nice breeze. Angered, Danzo tries wind technique after technique, even using the wind blades, but nothing hits Naruto, making the Warhawk livid. Are you done putting me through an air tunnel, or can I finish this? Why won't you die? Earth release, bedrock coffin. 4 slabs of earth appear around Naruto, which Danzo manipulates, hoping to crush Naruto in between the slabs. It does not happen, as Naruto sinks into his shadow and reappears behind Danzo, ready to strike the killing blow, but the hidden Sharingan sees him. Danzo Mio kicks Naruto, making him fly to the back wall, but he recovers and uses it as a springboard and starts to spin while forming his shadow blades. Eventually, all Danzo sees is a black, spinning blur. The Warhawk hears one thing before the attack hits, as it was too fast to dodge. Death's demonic drill. Naruto runs Danzo through the stomach wound he made earlier and lands on his hands and springs to his feet on the other side of the room. Naruto looks over to see the 2 halves of Danzo on the concrete floor, blood pooling around his corpse. As Naruto slowly walked up, the bisected leader of Root began to laugh while blood spewed from his mouth at every word he spoke. We will both meet the Shinigami today. 4 symbols appear on Danzo's body, which shoots into the air. They soon form a black ball around Danzo's corpse and expand, sucking everything in its path. Naruto's eyes widened and he quickly tried to make an exit but knew he wouldn't make it. He then remembers the clone he made and quickly switches with it. Thanks, boss, I see how it is. The clone quips with sarcasm, then pops as Danzo last jutsu explodes, taking part of the base with him. With Konoha forces. 8 trigrams 128 palms. Hi, she screamed out and ended the life of a Root member, as the last strike made the heart explode. Seeing a mass coming at him, Hayashi initiates his Kaiten, sending the enemies flying. "How you holding up, Shikaku?" said man lazily replies, "This is all troublesome, so much for my nap today." Hayashi's sweat drops, then watches as the Nara clan head uses his shadow sewing technique to pierce several enemies at once, making it so the ones fighting could finish them off. Fong passing Fong. Two whirlwinds shoot past Hayashi and Shikamaru, slamming into oncoming enemies. So, can anyone join in on this party? In another part of the base, the Uchiha were proving their worth once again like they did in the era of the first Hokage. Being saved by the ghost of Konoha boosted their morale, making them fight with ferocity. Itachi and Shursui were back-to-back using their katana to slice any in their way while using Amaterasu only in times of dire need. "Reminds you of the old days, huh, Itachi?" Shursui asks as they fight back-to-back, blocking and stabbing while watching each other's back. "If you mean when we took some of our first missions together, Itachi had to jump over a low slash making him pause, then yeah, you could say that." Itachi and Shursui stabbed their respective opponents at the same time, making both chuckle. "First to 20 wins," Shursui jokes. Itachi scoffs, "I will get that in no time." Itachi suddenly jumps in front of Shursui, stabbing a rushing enemy in the throat. "You stole my kill!" Itachi retorts with mirth, "Bite me." The fighting lasted for another 30 minutes, but in that time, the root seemed to become exhausted as the fight drew on. It was like Danzo only wanted his followers at a certain level so they don't usurp his power. An explosion soon ripped through the base, followed by the sound of screams. Everyone looks to see the remaining root members drop to the ground in pain as their seals are removed. "What just happened?" Hayashi asks, making the other clan heads shake their head, not knowing as well. One of the wounded agents near them looks at her wound and up at the three near her. She reaches a hand towards them. "Thank you," is all she says before passing out, leaving Hayashi, Shikaku, and some baffled. The other forces encounter this as well. Soon, an ANBU member comes up and barks out orders. "We are to help the wounded and detain the rest. The Hokage will decide what to do with them." "And if they are parts of clans?" Hayashi questions, making the ANBU shrug. "Like I said, the Hokage will take care of that, just do as ordered." The three do not hesitate and start ordering squads around. It only took 3 hours to take out the entire base, but for one person, this clean out was just the beginning. With Naruto, Danzo's office. "Man, that was close, thought I would have died in there. Thankfully I made that clone when I did." "Moving into phase 2, I take it, Kit?" Naruto nods. "I have a feeling the Hokage will want to know about my change in attitude years back, though I feel as if he is hiding something." Kurama was confused. "How can you tell? I didn't sense any negative emotions from him." Naruto sighs. "It's just a hunch, Kurama." Naruto makes multiple shadow clones and orders them to watch the remaining root being gathered, with some going to the library to look up on the Uzumaki clan. Naruto was sure Hiruzen was hiding something, but he didn't know what. Making sure all the documents from Danzo were sealed away and in his possession, he left for the Hokage office for debrief. Hokage office. Naruto arrives via the shadows and bows to the Hokage, but notices Jiraiya is present as well. Silencing seals are instantly put up and the debrief began. Naruto explained his battle with Danzo but left out that he had all of his documents and plans. It took about 30 minutes, but when that was done, an awkward silence permeated the room before the Sandaime began to question Naruto. "Naruto, you have done well, and for that Konoha thanks you for your service so far, but I digress. When you met the Kyuubi, your personality shift was instantaneous. You say the fox scared you straight, but I don't buy it. What are you planning, Naruto?" Naruto's facial features are hidden by the mask, but inside he was wondering how to get out of this. After a brief moment he began. "I know of my parents, I have trained and done Konoha service, and this is how you repay me." Ryuzen quirks an eyebrow. "I don't understand, Naruto. All I am asking is about your personality shift. The sudden change makes me wonder if you're up to something." Naruto smirks underneath his mask. "You kept secrets from me almost my entire life, so I think I will return the favor. How do you like it when the tables are turned?" Jiraiya interrupts, trying to get Naruto to confess. "We won't punish you or anything, just please tell us why the sudden shift. We need to know if you're a potential threat." Naruto makes his eyes glow red, making the two flinch slightly. "I went through brutal training, I saved the Uchiha from being massacred, and lastly I just killed Danzo and helped end a civil war in Konoha, and you see me as a threat." Naruto slams the area with killer intent, making Jiraiya almost go to his knees, with the Sandaime's eyes bulging with sweat pouring down his face. After a couple minutes Naruto releases, making the tension go back to normal. Before the Toad Sage or the Hokage could say anything, Naruto talked again. "I want to know something. You two seem awfully nervous about me leaving this village, and I want to know why. I trained with the best for 3 fucking years, and your body language alone rings all the wrong bells in my mind." Hiruzen and Jiraiya tried to hide a flinch, but Naruto caught it, which he made a mental note of. He also saw the Hokage reach his right hand over to a place on his desk like he was hiding something. Another note was taken. Naruto, we aren't hiding anything from you, please just dash. Said person interrupts with anger. Oh, not hiding anything from me, that's a laugh, like you hid my parents, and why I was hated in this village. With all due respect, fuck both of you. I came here for a single debrief, one fucking debrief, and what do I get? An interrogation. And Naruto, now look dash. Hiruzen stutters but Naruto keeps on going with his rant. No, Hokage-sama, look here. I may be an agent under your command but remember what stipulations I hold. The Hokage sighs, yes, you can kill any villager that has wronged you in the past, and you will not become a shinobi of Konoha until you feel this village can be trusted like your father did when he was Hokage. Sensei, Jiraiya says with shock present on his voice. What was I to do, my student? He had me backed in a corner, and was going to leave the village. Naruto interrupts with a clear of his throat. This meeting has been nice and all, but I must ask one last thing. What are you going to do with the root agents that are still alive? Without hesitation, Hiruzen replies they will be executed for treason. Naruto, Jiraiya, and Kurama's eyes widen in shock. Under what grounds, what evidence? Naruto yells out, making the Hokage chuckle. I am sick of having root around, so I am solving that problem by executing the rest. No trial, no nothing. The evidence is already sent to the daimyo, so good luck taking back the verdict. Naruto glares at the Hokage. I hope you know the insurrection you will cause by doing this. Good day. With that, Naruto leaves in a shadow shunshin, making the Hokage slump in his chair and take in a deep breath. I hope my lie of executing them would get a rise out of Naruto so he would spill, but it seems we trained him too well. Jiraiya growls, you ass, I was about to kill you if you were going to do that. The evidence has been sent though, right? Hiruzen nods, then looks out the window to the Hokage monument. Do you think we did the right thing in the Second Shinobi War, Jiraiya? Do you think that Naruto suspects us of doing what we did? Jiraiya shakes his head no, and we best keep it that way. How is our patient doing at the hospital? You mean the one that has been there for years? Jiraiya nods, she is fine, comatose, but fine. You do know if Naruto finds out, his stipulations that you agreed on will come into play. We may be Hokage and Sannin, but at the roots, we are a Konoha villager. The Hokage pales and looks at his old student with a worrisome gaze. Let's hope it doesn't come to that, my old student. With Naruto, Danzo's office. The nerve of that decrepit old monkey. Kit, your Hokage is an ass, can you kill him please? That sounds lovely and all, but no. I need to enact phase 2, but before that we have a prison break to do in a couple days. What I do after that is going to bring joy to my face. One of Naruto's clones in the library pops, sending its information back. What it sent made Naruto confused. Why aren't there any books and such discussing the Uzumaki clan in the library? The clan was one of the founders of Konoha, it makes no sense. This just proves to me that someone is hiding something from me, so I stay loyal to this village. What will bring joy to your face, kid, if I might ask? Naruto grins. Why, killing the civilian council, of course. Maybe kill a couple civilians while at it. I want to see the Hokage's reaction and see his angry face when he can't pin shit on me. 2 days later, council chambers. Naruto, dressed as Oni, the clan heads, the daimyo, Tsunade, Jiraiya, and the Hokage are all sitting around the table to discuss the damages and casualties from the civil war. The martial law was lifted a day after the attack ended. Hokage Dano, I received your evidence, and I thank you, Oni was it, for taking care of that cockroach for us. It was my pleasure, Daimyo Dano. Hokage Dano, can you read the casualty report please? Hiruzen nods. Hi, Daimyo Dano. We detained about 300 root members while healing another 37. Casualties on their end reached well above 500 members. It would explain the discrepancies on our shinobi roster list, but I digress. Konoha forces lost was only 175. Clans accounted for about half of this, while the rest were Chunin and some Jounin. The daimyo smiled. Damages? The root base was heavily damaged, but the only damage to the village was the town square, where Danzo used a simplified version of what Hashirama made the Konoha forests with. Everyone's eyes widened except Jiraiya, Oni, and the Hokage. Pardon my interruption, but being on the receiving end of that was not fun. I can see why the wood release is Konoha's strongest bloodline. Oni states, making everyone chuckle lightly. The daimyo continues. Monies for damages? The Hokage shakes his head. None, Daimyo Dano. We have enough in our treasury. Before anyone could continue, the ground shakes, followed by the sound of an explosion, and Anbu comes bursting in. Pardon the intrusion, Hokage-sama, Daimyo Dano, but the prison has just been sabotaged. Our detainees have escaped. Have you caught the culprit? The Hokage asks in slight anger. The Anbu signals, telling everyone to wait, then soon gets confirmation. Yes, Hokage-sama. It was a leftover root agent that escaped the attack a couple days ago. Do you want them brought in? The daimyo nods. Yes, I want to hear this person's story. The Anbu nods and shuns out, and a short while later the culprit is brought to the chambers. Before anyone could do anything, the culprit suddenly trips the Anbu, breaks his chakra cuffs, takes the ANBU's issued sword and commits suicide in front of everyone in the chamber, while saying his last words. Glory be to Danzo. After watching the man stab himself in the heart, the room goes silent and the Hokage barks out orders. I want every ANBU searching for our detainees. Got it. Oni, where did he go? The daimyo chuckles. I think he knows his duties too well, Hokage Dano. I saw him sink into the shadows. Interesting ANBU you have there. Hiruzen can only nod as his village turns into chaos once again, but cannot help but think on Naruto's last words in his office. Naruto, are you planning all of this? If so, what is your ultimate goal? Before the meeting, Danzo's office. Naruto was back in the old root base having clones fix up the place. While he was doing this though, he was ready to enact Operation Prison Break. Naruto knew this was going to be no easy task. The prison was heavily guarded by ANBU as well as many seals to detect intruders and such, among other things. How did Naruto know all this? Danzo's documents held the answer, as he was paranoid that he or one of his best agents would be caught. Summoning 2 clones, he barks out orders. Dress as Root, you 2, there are extras in the armory in the base. Here are the 2 masks I collected a while back. Naruto hands them the masks, which they put on. Good, now I have the map of the prison thanks to Danzo, which I will give you copies of. Once you enter the prison, I want you to release the prisoners that are not former Root agents and start a riot. While this is going on, go to your objective, but on the way plant explosive tags. Once you've extracted the prisoners, bring them here and blow up the prison. Boss, you would be killing innocent lives. Naruto glares at his clone. Your point, most are criminals and this village has shit on me, so a few innocent deaths wouldn't hurt. The clone nervously laughs while the other comes up with a genius plan. Boss, can you make me into one of your shade clones? I think if I get caught while you're at the meeting would only cement your innocence in the whole prison affair. Naruto smiles, then punches the clone, making it pop. His shadow then raises and forms a perfect replica of him, but is nearly indestructible and acts like a blood clone in a way. You're mean, boss, that punch hurt. The clone rubs his nose. You have your orders, go. I have a meeting to get to. Naruto puts on his Shinigami mask and chuckles to himself, but then Kurama interrupts his thoughts. What are you going to do with all those former members of Danzo's organization? This wasn't part of the original plan. No, it wasn't, but this works out in my favor even more. Once these members are rounded up, I will make my own version of Root. I think I will call it Shade, while my agents are called Ghosts. Ghosts lurking in the shade, yes, that has a nice ring to it. Chapter 5. Revenge is a dish best served cold. Naruto's clones look at the prison from the building they are perched on. The prison is anything but pretty. It is a fairly large cinder block building with little to no windows. A stone fence surrounds it with ANBU patrolling on the top of it while some patrol the lower grounds. Both clones look at the maps Naruto gave to them and notices a red circle on the northeast part of the wall where there is a blind spot where the guards could not see. Nodding to themselves, the clones silently jump down from their vantage points and head to their target. After 5 minutes, they have successfully entered the prison grounds and silently made their way inside while avoiding the guards. Inside the prison, there are a series of checkpoints and seals that go off if any unrecognized personnel are present. Luckily for the Naruto clones, they just melded into the nearby shadow and could easily teleport around the prison without tripping the seals. It was a cakewalk so far, but now the tricky part came, to start a riot. As they got to the cell blocks, however, everyone seemed missing. Where is everyone? Clone 1 asks. Not sure, what time is it? Clone 1 looks at a nearby clock and grins behind the mask. Past noon, that can only mean one thing. Clone 2, who is the Shade clone, nods and replies, Mess Hall, this is going to be fun. Again they disappear into the shadows with the guards none the wiser. It took a couple minutes, but they finally got to their destination and quickly began to come up with a plan. The Shade clone whispers to the other, use the shadows, making it seem like others are getting poked while I start planting explosive tags. On it. Clone 1 laughs and uses Shadow Step to appear behind people and tap them on the shoulder. Being quick with the jutsu, the clone managed to tap 10 people who looked to the person beside them and quickly became irritated. Hey bub, I don't appreciate others touching me. A big muscular convict states to the person on his right. The hell, man, I just sat down. Don't bullshit me. Both stand and look at each with anger in their eyes. It wasn't just them. The others that got poked started to speak out when Clone 1 tripped a nearby guy with a tray full of food. The bickering stops as everyone watches the tray sail in the air, then fall onto the one inmate everyone knew to avoid. His name was Jim supposedly, but nobody knew his real name. The whole room becomes dead as the 7-foot-tall, 300-pound man, who is basically all muscle, stands and turns, looking into everyone's soul with his beady black eyes. Jim's voice boomed in the mess hall. Who dares hit the Almighty? One inmate decided to play tough and crept behind Jim with his tray and smashed it over his head. This action made everyone erupt into chaos. Punches were flying, tables and chairs were being used as weapons, food was flying, and cussing was going round. This of course alerted the guards, making both clones dismiss themselves from the area and head to the basement where the root captives were held. Explosive notes were planted along the way in discreet locations. Arriving in the basement, the clones noticed heavier security and knew they had to resort to knocking out or killing the guards. Do not kill, knock out and extract, the Shade clone ordered while pointing out the 10 guards in the room that held 4 large cells which held all 300 former root operatives. Clone 1 nod and both get to work while using the shadows to appear behind the ANBU, then chopping them in the back of the neck, knocking them out. It took a minute to take out the guards, but this made the prisoners wonder what was going on. They stepped back in shock as the clones appeared in front of them. Who are you? One of the prisoner questions. Our boss told us to get you out of here. He will debrief you later. Stand back please, as we are about to blow the doors, Clone 1 states as he puts minor explosive tags on the 4 cell doors. Once the tags were in place, the prisoners stepped back and protected themselves the best they could. The Shade clone nodded and the tags went off, making alarms blare in the prison. I will be the one captured, but until then I will help getting these people to safety. One of the former root steps up. I remember Danzo making a tunnel into the prison just in case he was captured. Did he tell where? Clone 1 asks, earning a shake of the head from others, making both clones groan. We don't have time for this. Make the tags go off upstairs, then extract the prisoners using the closest root base entrance. Shade clone orders, making Clone 1 activate the tags. Multiple explosions as well as screams of the injured and dying are heard. Both clones motioned to follow, which everyone did. The top floor of the prison was a mess. Most of the structure was missing as well as the guards, save a select few, was incapacitated. The Shade clone stayed behind, ready to face off against any guard who tried to stop the mission. Prisoners escaping after them. The Shade clone used taijutsu to hold off the guards as Clone 1 extracted them to the base. 10 minutes later, the Shade clone surrendered and was quickly slapped with chakra cuffs and other seals. One guard went to alert the Hokage and came back 2 minutes later saying that they wanted the culprit in the council room. Council room. Once inside the council room, the Shade clone suddenly trips the ANBU, breaks his chakra cuffs, takes the ANBU's issued sword and commits suicide in front of everyone in the chamber while saying his last words. Glory be to Danzo. After watching the man stab himself in the heart, the room goes silent and the Hokage barks out orders. I want every ANBU searching for our detainees. Got it. Oni, where did he go? The daimyo chuckles. I think he knows his duties too well, Hokage Dano. I saw him sink into the shadows. Interesting ANBU you have there. Hiruzen can only nod as his village turns into chaos once again, but cannot help but think on Naruto's last words in his office. Naruto, are you planning all of this? If so, what is your ultimate goal? Old root base. Naruto/Oni appears in front of the 300 ex-root members and clears his throat, gaining their attention. Are you the boss that person told us about? Naruto nods. I have gathered you all here to offer you a position. You will use your skills that Danzo had trained you in, but no seals will be used, as I will know when a rat is present. Sai was in the shadows thinking he was safe, but Naruto sensed him, but let him be, for now at least. Why would we want to work for another Danzo? That's bullshit. Naruto chuckles. That is where you are wrong. You will have free reign on your training. Get as strong as you like, as I expect only the best in my organization. We are called Shade, where all of you will be called ghosts. I will be referred to as Shinigami-sama, as I will not divulge my real name. What happens if we say no? One of the ex-roots stated. Naruto grins behind his mask, pinpointing his target. Are you from any clan? No, why are you ACK? Everyone gasps as they see Naruto with his shadow blade impaled through the guy's heart, killing him near instantly. Naruto disappears again back to his original spot, the blade now gone. If you say no, I cannot let anyone knowing who I am and what we are going to do. I will wait, you can choose. Talking goes on for another 5 minutes, but every so often all would look at the dead body near them. It was a no-brainer for them. So, Shinigami-sama, we have decided to follow your cause no matter the consequence. Everyone cheers out, making Naruto smile beneath his mask. Good, now I will have to discreetly order new uniforms, but I think that can be arranged. You will be wearing ANBU-style clothing, but all black with a black cloak with hood and a mask like mine. All will be issued ninjutsu, throwing knives, ninja wire, among other assassin needs. Naruto pauses for everyone to digest that, then continues. You will also be given a strict training regime as well as swearing an oath of silence. It is up to you to control your emotions, but remember that the Shinigami will always be watching. The 300 now Shade members nod while a female speaks up. What is our purpose other than to serve you, Shinigami-sama? Naruto chuckles. Why? We plan on making Konoha strong, but then we will use Konoha's strength to take over the elemental nations. I might change my plans later on, but you never know. How old are you? That is just one of the many questions I will not answer. Naruto makes 300 shadow clones. You will be going with one of my clones to train while I do some errands of my own. Naruto makes his eyes glow red before the shadows engulf him, freaking everyone out. And I thought Danzo was creepy. Shinigami-sama takes the cake. In the shadows, Sai was conflicted. He could help or bring this organization down before it started. Sai quickly decided and made his way out, none the wise to one of Naruto's shade clones following him. With Naruto. Naruto was overlooking the Haruno household. His target was Mabuki Haruno. Even though it was a little past noon, Naruto still had the skills to get his job done, but he knew he had to make it look accidental. Kit, how are you going to acquire all that gear for your ghosts? You interrupt at the most inopportune times, Kurama. Anyway, I plan on raiding ANBU HQ and stealing from stores, just like the old days. When the Hokage wants to try and accuse me, I will bring something up that will cement my suspicions of Hiruzen hiding something from me. Kurama smiles. Do tell, Kit. Patience, my fine furry friend. Kurama growls in annoyance but soon decides to take another nap. The snoring makes Naruto's sweat drop. Regardless of his tenant, Naruto took his time to get in the house as Sakura, the daughter, would still be in the academy at this time. The only problem was the father. Haruno household. Mabuki was currently in the kitchen, humming along as she made lunch for her husband who would be coming home at any moment. As she was cutting the vegetables for the stew she was making, Mabuki heard a noise upstairs, making her pause. Curiosity getting the better of her, she goes to the stairs and calls out. Anyone there? No response is given, so she shrugs her shoulders and gets back to work. Upstairs, Naruto was cursing at the rookie mistake. The window he silently opened and went through was easy enough, but he forgot to watch his surroundings. Naruto tripped on a teddy bear and fell to the floor with a thud. Luckily, his target only called up the stairs. After the minor mistake, Naruto used what little shadows he had to sneak around the home with to get a look on his situation. Target is located in the kitchen, cooking, knives being used, pot of boiling water for the vegetables, a natural gas stove. That could work. Right as Naruto was about to move, the front door opened and the husband stepped in, making Naruto curse. He did not want to kill innocents in this case as it would look suspicious. Using the shadows, he decided to find the natural gas pipe and make a small leak, then somehow lure the husband outside. Mabuki, I'm home. She yells from the kitchen. Hey Kizashi, how was work? Kizashi comes up from behind and kisses his wife on the cheek while hugging her. Busy but fine overall. Something smells good. Mabuki chuckles. Just some beef stew is all. Sakura should be home in about 3 hours, which is when I should get done with dinner. Kizashi nods and heads to the family room, where he grabs the newspaper off the coffee table, sits on the couch, and starts to read it. It was at this moment when Naruto used the shadows to crack the gas line slightly. He hoped the pilot lights on the stove would set off the explosion, now to get Kizashi out of the home. Naruto waited for the gas to build in the house to see the reactions of the two. It only took 30 minutes. Kizashi sniffs. Honey, what's that smell? And before you ask, no, it's not your beef stew. I don't smell anything, love, you must be hallucinating. Right as Kizashi was about to get up, out of his peripheral he thought he saw a shadow move. Curious, he gets up and tries to see what that was. For 5 minutes, he looked all over and could not find a single thing, but once he turned around, Naruto appeared and knocked him out with a chop to the neck. Wrapping him and his target in shadow, Naruto vacated the area, and it was at this point Mabuki started to smell something strange. Honey, is that natural gas? No answer. Kizashi? Are you alright? Just as she was about to check up on her husband, a pilot light flickered and all of Konoha was caught off guard when a deafening explosion echoed throughout the village. Naruto watched the debris rain down around the area and decided to place Kizashi in a nearby ally. He was placed in a way to make it look like he passed out. 1 down, 4 to go. Naruto makes 4 clones hinged as root members and has them go off to the final targets. All were rich snobs and liked their money more than the village. 2 of them, Tsuyoshi and Tsubasa, were brothers that ran the main bank in Konoha. The others, Tomoko and Sayuri, were female. Both ran high-end restaurants which were only accessible to those with fat wallets like they had. Thanks to Danzo's intel on each, as he planned to kill them as they were loose ends to his cause, Naruto knew that each would rather count their money at home. The brothers would be easy since both would be in the same home. The females would be tricky, but Naruto knew the clones could manage. Tsuyoshi and Tsubasa's mansion. Nestled in a large secluded spot just outside Konoha's walls was the brothers' massive estate. 12 bedrooms, 8.5 baths, the floors were made of black granite slabs, the home itself made out of polished marble. The contents inside the home were luxurious to say the least. Expensive paintings, royal red carpeting which protected the massive marble staircase to get to the top floor, fine china dishware, among other things. The brothers were currently in their lounge room, which consisted of a large fireplace, the outside of which was ornate carved wood, many bookshelves containing old books and manuscripts of a supposed lost era, 1 finely crafted wooden table and 2 red leather sofas. Both were smoking the finest cigars while chatting about how much money they were making. On the table, in a bucket of ice, was the finest sake any man or woman could buy, with 2 glasses within arm's reach. Tsuyoshi and Tsubasa were wearing the same outfit, and you could pass them off for twins: black pants, black shoes, white shirt with gray and black striped vest over top, and a red bow tie. Oh, and another thing, they had a maid called Reika. "Anything I can get you, Tsuyoshi, Tsubasa-sama?" Without looking, Tsuyoshi, in a mightier-than-thou voice, responded, "Would you be so kind as to gather another bottle from the cellar? It seems my brother and I have ran out." Reika bows as you wish. As she heads to the cellar, one of the clones used the shadows to follow her while the other keeps tabs on the brothers. As Reika got to the door to the cellar, she opened it, flicked on the lights, and then started to walk down the wooden steps to a cellar where the sake was kept at the perfect temperature. Unfortunately for Reika, this would be her last day on the job, as the clone made her trip and fall down the stairs. She landed on the hard concrete floor where her neck snapped, killing her. The clone overstepped the body and hinged into her. After picking up a bottle, he opened it, then took a tasteless, quick-acting poison, which would dissolve in the bloodstream, leaving no trace at all to the sake. Boss will be happy. Sad that the maid died though, but alas. 2 cardiac arrests coming up. The clone returned with the bottle and replaced the empty one. The brothers both poured their glasses and sipped on it. "Thank you, Reika, you are dismissed," Tsubasa stated without looking. The clone bows and speaks in her voice, "As you wish." The clones left the home, where 2 minutes later the brothers started having problems breathing. A minute after that, they collapsed onto the floor dead. The 3 bodies would not be discovered until 2 hours later due to the prison break and the Haruno household going up in a massive explosion. Tomoko Estate. Like Tsubasa and Tsuyoshi, Tomoko's mansion was relatively the same, but had a more feminine aspect added in. We find Tomoko currently soaking in her luxurious bathtub, which was outlined and had ornate designs on it with pure gold. Oh yeah, this feels good after denying those poverty-ridden flea bags from my restaurant. Such pests, begging for food, bah. At least Danzo is out of the way and I don't have to worry about my safety. Down on the first floor, Naruto's clone just got inside after having to put the guard dogs to sleep with an aerosol poison which only paralyzed the dogs for a certain length of time. As the clone got into the mansion, he searched every bedroom, library, lounge room, wine cellar, among other rooms, but there was one he missed: the master bedroom and bath, which were both connected to each other. Of course, the last place you look. The clone sees the door to the master bedroom, and like the others, he used the shadows to get to the other side without having to open the door. Inside was a bed made for a princess, the floor was a royal red carpet, on the wall were fine tapestries, there were a couple dressers for clothes, and on top of them were feminine care products. As he was sneaking in the bedroom, the clone heard a moan inside the bathroom. Peeking in the cracked open door, the clone's sweat dropped and quickly turned away. Figures, I guess she has to release sexual tension somehow. The clone then notices something. Great, no shadows in the bathroom to get me to my target. Guess it's the old brute force. Thankfully I look like Root. As Tomoko was enjoying fingering herself and amid a euphoric high, Naruto's hinged clone burst into the bathroom, making the woman scream. Those were soon turned into choked gurgles as the clone rushed at Tomoko, quickly stuffing her head in the water. Tomoko's body kicked and struggled, some kicks hitting the clone which he brushed off. The gurgling continued and the clone pushed down harder. The process was taking longer than he would have liked. 5 minutes later, however, the deed was done, but the clone knew this scene looked like no accident took place. Great, now what am I going to do? Boss is going to be pissed. The clone suddenly gasps and snaps his fingers in thought. Guess I could make it look like she tripped while getting in the tub. Yeah, she cracked her skull open and fell, and thus the water on the floor. Genius! The clone flipped Tomoko's body face down, but before laying her back in the water, he cracked the front of Tomoko's skull on the far side of the tub, making blood smear there as well as drip down her skull. After laying the body in the right position, the clone dispersed, letting Naruto know his task was done. Sayuri Estate. Like the last two, the estate was the same but with a feminine aspect added. Unlike Tomoko, Sayuri was currently on the balcony which was attached to her master bedroom. She was sitting on a red leather sofa. Beside her was a bottle of fine sake in an ice bucket with a glass nearby. Sayuri occasionally reached over and grabbed this, taking a sip every so often. Sayuri was currently bird watching and listening to the sounds of nature. It soothed her over what happened today at the restaurant. How dare those lower class punks break into my restaurant and steal my food? I guess I will file a report with the Hokage tomorrow. Glad that Warhawk is gone though. Like Tomoko, Tsuyoshi and Tsubasa, she did not hear the chaos erupting in Konoha due to their estate being hidden away from Konoha. In the trees, a certain distance away, Naruto's clone watched Sayuri's movements. He was waiting to see if a pattern could be found before raiding the home and making the death look accidental. Over the course of 10 minutes, Sayuri would grab her sake glass, take a couple sips, stretch and sigh, then get up and walk up to the railing on the balcony to look out into the forest. She was wearing a fine silk kimono, all white, and sandals. Occasionally, the clone noticed Sayuri would stumble on her feet. possibly intoxicated, the clone thought. Well, I can use the scene we have to make it look like she had a little too much and fell over. What is that, about a 20-foot drop onto? The clone paused, seeing what was underneath. Well, that's convenient. Underneath the balcony was a lavish indoor patio which was covered in glass windows to keep the elements on the outside. In the patio were various types of furniture. The death was not going to be pretty. Over the next 5 minutes, the clone meticulously made his way to where Sayuri was. Once he got there, he had to wait until the target got up to the railing. It was not a long wait, and the clone saw she was stumbling more than before. Looking around, he knew why. 3 sake bottles were lying about on the bedroom floor. Really? Well, I guess I cannot complain. It makes the death look more reasonable. Sayuri was now looking over the railing into the forest. It was at this time the clone silently moved forward and gave a push to her back. Gasping in fright, while at the same time trying to gain her footing, Sayuri's inebriated body could not coordinate and fell head over heels to the patio below. A crash and tinkling of glass followed by the slam of her body hitting the floor made the clone cringe. Looking over the balcony to see the damage, the clone almost vomited. Damn, well, I was not expecting that. Laying on the cement floor, with pieces of glass embedded into her eyeballs and one deep into her neck, was Sayuri's crumpled, profusely bleeding corpse. Not wanting to stay any longer, the clone dismissed, telling Naruto the job was done. Time skip, day later, Hokage office. Hiruzen was not a happy man. Oh no, first it was the prison break in which 35 ANBU and all but 5 prisoners were killed. After that was the explosion at the Haruno household and the discovery of Kizashi nearby. He was taken in for questioning, but for now the death was ruled accidental. To add the cherry on top, the other civilian council members were killed, 2 by cardiac arrest, 1 due to accidental drowning, and the last was accidental suicide. It was because of this, Konoha was again on lockdown with the daimyo sent back to the palace for safety concerns. Slamming his head on the desk, Hiruzen let out a dissatisfied groan, wondering how this could happen in such a short amount of time. Picking his head up from the desk, he signals the ANBU, "Get me Oni please, that is if you can find him." The shadows in the corner of the room near the Hokage desk ripple with Naruto walking out. "You called Hokage-sama?" "ANBU, leave us." Once they do, Hiruzen puts up security seals, then jumps out of his chair, grabs Naruto by the throat and slams him into the back wall and snarls. "Listen here, you little shit, I know you are doing these things as everything was planned out too far in advance. That and your sudden change of attitude does not help your case." Naruto makes his eyes glow red, then uses the shadows to appear behind the sandame, a shadow blade pointed at the heart, while another pointed at the kidney. "Is that all the proof you have?" "Pathetic. I bet Danzo knew that this would come sooner or later and hid some of his forces to take out loose ends. You disgust me, Hokage-sama, blaming others for the hardships that are going on in this village. Don't play coy with me, Naruto. Evidence or not, my word is law, and if I want to execute you, then I will do so with my bare hands." "Wrong, Hokage-sama. The daimyo's word is law, and without proof of me doing what you accused me of doing, nothing will get done." Naruto deactivates his shadow swords and quickly uses the shadows to dodge a backhand from the Hokage. "I don't know why I ever agreed to have you in that program in the first place. I knew you were the Kyuubi the moment it was sealed within you." Naruto slow claps, "So, the truth comes out. Then again, I think in your mind you were having second thoughts. Did you think you failed my father, me, your sensei?" Naruto sees Hiruzen's shocked expression, making him chuckle. "I may only be 10 years old, but that program has benefits. It makes me wonder if you truly are hiding something. Tell me, Hiruzen, where is my Uzumaki heritage? Where is the scrolls on the techniques my father likely left for me? And lastly, why are all Uzumaki records gone without a trace in the library and in the academy standards?" Without hesitation, the sandame replied, "First off, that is Hokage-sama to you. As for the others, in order, missing, and civilian council." Naruto notices that Hiruzen's stare was elsewhere in the room, signifying that he was lying, but Naruto decided to play along. "Seems reasonable, as they wanted me as their own weapon to abuse then throw away when done. Anyway, I am saddened that one of my stipulations cannot come true, but that does not mean it's null and void. There are some that need to fear the Shinigami. Ah, their screams are music to my ears." Hiruzen glares at Naruto and points to the door. "Get the fuck out of my office. I will find out what you are planning, Naruto, and when I do, even Kami will not give you the mercy you seek." Naruto starts to walk to the door, adding one last thing. "Mercy, words I used to scream when the villagers would attack. Kami, there is no god, as it did not help me in my time of need. I am the Shinigami. Death only awaits those who dare stand in my way." Naruto dissolves into black shadow particles as he reaches for the door handle, which made the Hokage shiver. After getting over what Naruto did, Hiruzen grabbed a sheet of parchment and a stylus. He was writing his report to the daimyo while adding an extra tidbit of information. "Daimyo Dano, I have the report for you on what occurred yesterday. The prison is a loss and a new one needs to be built. 35 of my ANBU died as well as all but 5 prisoners who were quickly detained. Kizashi is being questioned, but until that report comes through, the Haruno incident has been ruled accidental. Tsuyoshi and Tsubasa died of cardiac arrest, Tomoko died of accidental drowning, and Sayuri died by accidental suicide. I have a suspicion that Naruto has been doing all of this, and to make it worse is that he is onto us. Please hurry to Konoha where we can discuss things. I look forward to your arrival again. Sandame Dano. Former route, now Shade Base. Naruto arrives in particles of shadow, catching the ghosts who were training off guard. Each were taught the shadow clone jutsu to speed up the process. So far, each could summon about 5, but it was enough to get the troops ready for anything. The ghosts stop what they were doing and instantly bow, then simultaneously greet Naruto. How may we serve, Shinigami-sama? Naruto chuckles. The Hokage is not as he seems. He has hidden things for all of us. He has kept us in the dark about a clan that helped found Konoha. He is the true enemy. The Yandame's son is dead, but was it by the villagers' hands like he told us to believe, or was it some act so that he could hide the truth? The ghosts are silent, wondering where this was leading. Even they knew Danzo was collaborating with the Hokage from time to time. The Hokage is planning something, and we will be there to stop it. The shadows are where all ghosts lurk. The shadows are something all mortals fear. The Shinigami uses shadows to make death appear. We are Shade. It is where ghosts reside. Death to the collaborators. The ghosts smirk and raise their ninjutsu high into the air and scream out all at once. With Shinigami-sama as our guide. Chapter 6. Trust can be easily broken. The message took a day to get to the daimyo's office, but when it did, the man was not pleased in the slightest. After reading it, he summoned his guard to get ready for another trip to Konoha. He made sure the secretary and other staff members were on high alert when he was gone. Before leaving, the daimyo heads to his personal safe and chats with the 2 guards. Keep a vigilant eye. The attacks in Konoha might reach here. I don't want anyone finding out what is inside my safe. Hi, Daimyo-sama. The guards chorus and bow simultaneously. Good, I will be off to Konoha. I should be back in about 5 days. Shade Base. Naruto was sitting in Danzo's old office going over reports that his members have given. Naruto made sure he had members act as civilians, so he had eyes and ears everywhere. One of his ghosts was an academy student set to graduate in 2 years. Daisuke was his name. He would be Naruto's inside agent on how the new recruits were progressing. Flipping through the various reports on Konoha's security, academy strength, Hokage's movements, among other things, yes, Naruto managed to get one of his ghosts, Kasumi, as the Hokage's secretary. A knock is heard on the door and Naruto puts on his mask before letting the person enter. Enter. Shinigami-sama, word from Kasumi. She said that the Hokage sent for the daimyo. He will arrive in 2 days. Orders, sir? Naruto hums and taps his fingers on the desk. After 2 minutes he responds with determination in his voice. Send 2 of my best agents, you know who they are, to infiltrate the palace. Find anything pertaining to the Uzumaki or anything of interest. The agent bows. All were wearing the new uniforms as of now. I shall inform Isamu and Kenshin right away. Naruto nods and the agent leave the room while Naruto sighs in thought. What's on your mind, Kit? Just wondering if I do find a family connection, what will become of my plans? I wanted to use Konoha to rule the elemental nations, but if family becomes involved. Kurama sighs. Just do what you feel is right, Kit. I am sure you will find out the entire truth sooner or later. Naruto nods. I guess you're right, thanks Kurama. Anytime, Kit. 2 days later, Hokage office. Hiruzen and the daimyo were currently sitting across from each other enjoying tea and pastries while discussing certain topics, one of which was about Naruto. They were planning on trying to undermine whatever he was doing. So, the daimyo starts. Naruto has started to become suspicious of what we did in the Second War, and you suspect him of leading the prison break and other things detailed in your report. Hiruzen nods. Hi, Daimyo Dano. The only proof I have is I agreed to a stipulation saying he could harm any villager that harmed him, and his sudden attitude change when meeting the Kyuubi at age 7. It's not much, but it is enough for me. Thoughts? Where is Jiraiya? He was involved in all this too. Hiruzen pinches the bridge of his nose. My student thought his spy duties were more important than his advisor ones and left Konoha, but he will return shortly. He is wrapping up a loose end, if you catch my drift. The daimyo smiles. So, all the loose ends have been put down then? A nod for the Hokage gives confirmation. Good, that helps our case then. So what about Naruto? What are we going to do about him? The Sandane grunts in annoyance. He could have killed me 4 days ago. Thanks to his damn shadow bloodline and his training, he can kill Kages while only being about Jounin level in strength. The daimyo sips his tea and hums in thought. Do you have his records? Maybe we can use them to our advantage? With all due respect, Daimyo Dano, you are fucking retarded. I had to make Naruto's death believable, so I burned all his records, including his recent training ones, by mistake. Hiruzen mumbled the last bit, but the daimyo caught it, which made him spit out his tea in shock. You what? Blame me later. So how are we going to do this? Plant evidence of murder on a guy who technically does not exist. Hiruzen sighs, we have to face the facts Daimyo Dano, Naruto is basically untouchable. Maybe if you didn't burn the files, we could have announced his name and let the villagers finish the job, but now he is on to us, and I hate to admit that you're right, but you're right. The daimyo pauses by taking a sip of his tea, then continues. Any sign of the old root members? No, and that worries me. With Naruto's training, who knows what he could accomplish. I made a mistake letting him join that program. I should have just let him leave the village. The daimyo shakes his head. No, you should have killed him after he left. What do you think he would have done if he went to his homeland and found what we could not gather? Hiruzen pales slightly and takes a shuddering breath. I guess it could be worse. I hate being left in the dark. The Hokage laughs lightly. Dark, the shadows, Naruto's home, a place which most mortal men fear. Sandaime Dano? It's nothing really, Daimyo Dano. I am just impressed on how well Naruto covered himself. If we do anything to him now, another civil war could break out. People know about the ghost of Konoha and caught glimpses of him during the Uchiha conflict. Rumor has spread of his appearance, and us trying to convict the man is suicide for us. The daimyo's face turns red in anger, eventually crushing the teacup in his hands, ignoring the cuts and hot liquid scalding his hand. This is bullshit. The bastard has us right where he wants us. Years, Hiruzen, we have planned this fucking thing years. And now, one fucking 10-year-old with the intelligence of a Nara and the cunningness of a fox has brought all that down in less than a month. I know, Daimyo Dano, the only thing we can do is stall Naruto. Then again, it makes you wonder if Danzo has a part in it as well. He never disbanded Root like I told him to the first time. The daimyo scoffs, you and me both know that Naruto is the one planning all this. Keep your guard up and stall him as much as possible. I will spend the rest of the day here before heading back. Daimyo's palace. Right when the daimyo arrived in Konoha, Isamu and Kenshin arrived at the palace. Guards, monks, samurai, and civilians were swarming everywhere. Both knew it would be a hard task, but they were the best of the best. Before heading inside, they changed into civilian clothing while keeping their shade uniform and weapons hidden from sight. Once they got to the gate, they were stopped by the guards. Halt, state your business for entering the palace. Isamu responds, my friend and I are here to take in the sights. We have traveled all over the elemental nations and decided to stop by. The guard points to Kenshin, what about you? Like my friend said, we wish to take in the sights. We heard that the fire capital is the best one out of all. The guards look at them for any sign of treachery, but after a couple minutes they find none, and let the two pass but have a monk escort them to the nearest hotel. Once they were at the hotel, they made blood clones of themselves to stay in the rooms while they changed into their uniforms. Alright Isamu, we have today and 2 others, a total of 3, before the daimyo returns, which gives us plenty of time to snoop about. Before that, where do you think the best spot to keep hidden documents and important details would be located at? Kenshin smacks Isamu upside the head. You dolt, we both know that answer. In a safe, but not just any safe. The daimyos both yell out, then shake their heads in slight embarrassment. Going in there right out of the gate is risky, as the documents might be hidden elsewhere. I will have my clone go to the library to look up stuff, yet at the same time listen into local gossip. Good thinking, Kenshin. I will try to get in close to the daimyo's palace. Maybe I can find ourselves an entrance. Both nod and head out. Kenshin discreetly follows his clone so he could get a pattern on guard rotations and such in the palace. With Kenshin, the clone got the clearance to head into the library. It seemed every building was guarded by at least 2 samurai, which unnerved Kenshin a bit, and made him slightly nervous for the mission. As the clone entered the library, Kenshin patrolled the area to do his task. With the clone, it immediately went for the clan section to see if anything could be found on the Uzumaki. If there was, they would have to find out how to steal it. Senju, Sarutobi, Nara, Aburema, here we go, the Uzumaki. The clone grabbed the book, found a seat, and started to read. Some of the information surprised him. The original would love to hear about this. One of the founders of Konoha, only known clan to hold the Kyubi within them. Wait, Mito was the first Jinchuriki to the Kyubi? Why is this not taught in the academy? As the hours passed, the clone got interrupted by an older man poking his shoulder. I see you're reading up on the Uzumaki clan. Shame they were destroyed in the Second War. Rumors have gone around since then saying the fall of their village was not what is written in that book. We lost a lot of extraordinary Fuinjutsu masters in that war. Kenshin's clone looks at the man with a smile. I don't mean to be rude, but how old are you? The older man chuckles. Not to worry, I get that a lot, going on my 90th year. The clone nods. So, did you meet any of the Uzumaki? Can you tell me about them? If my memory serves me well, I think I met Mito a while back. Fuinjutsu tags in the ears, beautiful smile, wife to Hashirama Senju. Ah yes, those were the days. The Uzumaki were well-mannered people, chakra powerhouses. The only reason they were destroyed is due to fear on the power they had. Seals? The clone asks, which the old man nods. Yeah, but survivors of that war said something was amiss as the Uzumaki should have survived that day. Shame really. Well, it was nice meeting you. The clone ponders on that last thing the man said. The clan should have survived that day, so who or what made them lose? With Isamu. Isamu was mad. Well, pissed would be a better way to put things. Why? Well, the daimyo's palace was a lot harder to get into than first thought. Samurai were everywhere. 5 near the massive wooden door which was the entrance to the massive building, about 10 or so patrolling on the roof, and who knew how many were inside. Where was our ghost at currently? He was hiding in the shadows. The black cloak with special seals helped make his body blend in with them, overlooking the massive structure on how to get inside. It has been 3 hours now and still no sign of a way in. This is just great. Shinigami-sama is going to be pissed if we cannot finish this mission. Wait, where are those monks going? Isamu watches as the group of 10 monks walked up to the door where the samurai let them in. No checks, nothing. The doors were closed behind them as they got in. Isamu looked up to the sky and saw it was about 1:30 p.m. Well, I know how to get in, but the problem lies with finding that damn vault. Henge is most likely out. Knocking out the guards is not an option. Ugh, I really hate my job sometimes. For the next couple hours, Isamu ran scenarios through his head, then went back to the hotel where he and Kenshin swapped notes with each other. Hotel room, night. So, find anything? Isamu asks, which Kenshin nods and smiles. A lot actually. My clone found 4 books which detailed the Uzumaki history. Fascinating, really. My clone also talked to an old guy who met Mito Uzumaki and said that war survivors knew something was amiss when Yuza fell. Wait, hold on here. Are you saying some other party was involved? Kenshin shrugs. Other than Kumo, IWA, and another unknown ally that attacked the village, it is possible. My clone talked to other elderly, and some more vets from that era, and most said that their few ninjutsu skills should have saved them. Isamu scratches his head and groans. Just what the hell is going on here? Kenshin shrugs. So, what did you find? Where to start? Well, the palace is swarming with samurai guards, top to bottom with an unknown amount inside. The only way in is at 1:30 p.m. when a group of monks are given access without search. Why am I sensing another problem? You know me too well, Kenshin. Yes, there is a problem. I don't know where the damn vault is inside. Henge and knocking out the guards is out, but I did draw up some scenarios. Kenshin raises an eyebrow and motions for Isamu to continue. One is that we have our clones make a scene outside the palace doors as a protest. 2 is that once we enter we act as lost monks and need a tour of the palace. And 3? Hell, well, that is the more, how shall we say, drastic approach. We kidnap the daimyo's daughter. Kenshin's eyes widen and he starts to choke. Isamu, do you want to get us killed? Isamu shoves Kenshin off. Look, the last option seems like our best bet. We have one of our clones do this so that everyone can be distracted. While this is going on, our clone will use her to get the answer we need, the location of the vault. That's nice and all, but how do you know where the daughter is? Kenshin implies. Isamu laughs. Why, she seems fond of the monks for some odd reason. All we have to do is use this to our advantage. I saw her on the shoulder of one when the monks left the palace 2 hours later. Kenshin shakes his head in amazement. This is going to cause quite a stir. Well, tomorrow afternoon should be fun. Isamu chuckles. You have no idea. Following afternoon, Isamu and Kenshin snuck into the monk temple and stole a couple robes. After making sure they were right, they put up the hoods and joined the group which headed for the palace. Both Isamu and Kenshin's hearts were racing. They had no idea if their plan was 100% foolproof. The massive wooden door got closer, 10 feet, 5 feet. The samurai guards look over the group for what seemed like an eternity, but it was only a couple minutes. The guards nodded and opened the doors. Isamu and Kenshin were now inside. As they followed the group, they found an area where they could quickly hide and produce clones of themselves. As the clones joined the group again, it was here the daimyo's daughter ran up to see them. Isamu and Kenshin counted 50 guards in the massive room where a throne sat in the middle. The monk group went about their business, making the daughter sad. This is when the clones struck. Isamu's grabbed her in a chokehold while Kenshin's held a kunai to her neck. Nobody move. The samurai that were going to attack held back. They were flabbergasted that someone got in. Put down the kunai and let our daimyo's beloved go. If you do, your sentence will be lessened, one of the guards stated. Isamu's clone started the questions. We will not kill your daimyo's beloved unless you answer our questions. Help me! The daughter cried out with tears running down her petite, teenaged face. The guard who spoke before grunted out and signaled the others to stand at the ready. Fine, speak your questions and we will answer them to the best of our abilities. Isamu's clone smirks behind the mask. First question, is the daimyo headed back yet? Yes, he left this morning. The guard had no choice but to reply. Kenshin's clone goes next. Where is his vault? You will not get anything from our daimyo, a samurai blurted out, making the guard who was negotiating curse. Damn rookies. Wrong answer. Kenshin takes the kunai and pushes the point in a little, breaking the skin and a thin line of blood to run down the daughter's neck. Okay, no need to get violent, please take the kunai away from her neck, the negotiating samurai stated. Isamu's clone retorts, answer our damn question. Where is the vault? The clones do a smokeless henshin to root members right as the samurai nodded and told them the directions. Go down the hall behind me, take a right and keep going forward, then take the fourth door on the left. The vault will be in there. I will notify the guards to let you pass. Now please, let the daimyo's beloved go. The clones saw their masters lurk in the shadows, taking off to the vault. Both clones nodded to themselves and shoved the girl forward, making her stumble into a nearby guard's awaiting arms. Before the samurai could apprehend them, they threw off the cloaks and stabbed themselves in the heart with a kunai, but not before yelling what Naruto's clone did at the council meeting. Glory be to Danzo! The negotiating samurai looked at the now two dead bodies, then back at the mentally distraught daughter. With the real Kenshin and Isamu, they got to the vault, which the guards allowed them to pass with a large amount of irritation. Inside the vault they found tons of gold, silver, and other scrolls. None were Uzumaki scrolls. What they did find was the daimyo's journal. Kenshin grabbed that and 2 scrolls labeled Namikaze while Isamu stood guard. It only took them 3 minutes to take what they needed. Both nodded to each other, and shined out. It was also at this time the samurai who witnessed the daughter's capture also witnessed the 2 clones burst into flame and turn to ash. Fire, clones! Sound the alarm, the real intruders have escaped. With Isamu and Kenshin. Both were outside the palace walls, hiding in the trees. This is when they heard the alarm sound, sending the entire town into chaos. Both chuckled to themselves and decided to read some passages from the journal, one of which made their eyes widen. Kenshin, have you ever seen Shinigami-sama mad before? Said man shakes his head. No, Isamu, but I think we will soon find out. A day and a half later, the daimyo returned to a chaotic scene and became enraged once the guards told them what transpired. He quickly sent a message to the sandames saying that they have been fully compromised. Shade Base, office, day and a half later. Isamu and Kenshin are kneeling in front of Naruto after they debriefed. Naruto was not happy with how things went down in the palace, but he had to admit that it was a crafty way to get what they needed. I should kill you for making a scene, but I see that you really had no choice in the matter, so I will let this one slide. The scrolls and journal, please. Also, did you manage to collect the books from the library? Kenshin nods and pulls out the 2 Namikaze scrolls, the journal, and another scroll with the 4 books in it, as well as the old man's tale and other citizens that were talked to. Kenshin places them on the desk, then gets back in the kneeling position. Thank you, Kenshin. Isamu, a job well done. Now leave me, as I have a lot of material to go over. At once, Shinigami-sama. Both chorus and leave the office to train with the others. It was 2 hours into training when the whole base felt an extreme killing intent, followed by the scream of what sounded like a demon. It scared the hell out of the 300 ghosts that were group training. Hiruzen Sarutobi, you fucking bastard! Isamu nervously looked to a shaking Kenshin beside him and gulped. Heh, I guess that is what Shinigami-sama is like when mad. Hold me. Time skip, 2 days later, hospital. The Hokage was currently in the hospital in a separate room speaking with the doctor. Jiraiya came back the day before and was updated on information, including the incident at the daimyo's palace as well as what was taken. Both gulped and knew that things were not looking good for them, but after a while, they settled down to start a civil conversation. So, how is our patient doing, doc? Good, Hokage-sama. She is still in a comatose state like you ordered. I wonder though, why keep her like this? Hiruzen shakes his head. She knows too much, and if she awoke and told everyone what she knows, it would be the end of Konoha. You thought the civil war with Danzo was bad. What she knows will make it 100 times worse. Jiraiya looks at the doctor and Hiruzen. Do you mind if I check on my seals to make sure they are working properly? The doctor nods. Sure, is that all right, Hokage-sama? By all means. All 3 went downstairs and took a few twists and turns to arrive at a steel door, the only one on this floor. 2 ANBU were guarding it. They have been since the patient was admitted. Password? One of the ANBU stated. Hidden truth. The Hokage answers. You may enter. The ANBU open the door and the 3 are let inside. There is 1 bed in the small, dark room, but on that bed was a beautiful, red-headed woman in a hospital gown. She was hooked up to various machines to keep her alive. On her forehead was a stasis seal, while on her heart was an anti-aging seal. One put her in a comatose state, while the other kept her from aging. The doctor goes to the clipboard which hung off the end of the bed and listed off the patient's name while Jiraiya took a look at the seals. Kushina Uzumaki, age 38 but looks 28 due to the anti-aging seal. Vitals, normal. Brain activity, slow but still active. Chance of recovery if ever awoke, 90%. How are the seals, my old student? Hiruzen asks. Good, sensei. I strengthened them a bit but did not tamper with them. The Hokage nods. Good, I guess we are not needed in here anymore. Time to head to the office and do more paperwork, ugh. With Naruto, Hokage office, hour earlier. While the Sandaime was in the hospital, Naruto decided to check the spot which the Hokage put his hand over. After he read what was in the daimyo's journal, he had no choice but to. I knew that bastard was hiding something, but not this. For what it's worth, I'm sorry, Kit. It's not your fault, Kurama, it's just certain people who let greed and power blind them to what truly needed to be done. The connection was broke after that, as both were not in a big talkative mood. What they read in that journal was groundbreaking, and Naruto hoped that what he found in Hiruzen's office was just as good, if not better. Using the shadows, he appears in the office and proceeds to knock out the 5 guards by using a memory wiped seal so that they would not speak about this incident. Now, where was that place? Naruto went around the desk looking for a hidden button or something. After 10 minutes, Naruto finds the place the Hokage was trying to cover. On the bottom of the desk was 2 buttons, one to call A and BU and the other was unknown. Naruto pressed the unknown button where a click sounded followed by something opening. Naruto looks around and notices that the bookshelf was just decoration. It was hiding a secret vault. Well, this is most surprising. Let's see what we can find. The vault was small but effective. Dust and cobwebs covered the area. There were 5 shelves filled with scrolls, all labeled and categorized. For the next 20 minutes, Naruto took care to see what the vault held. Dang, there's stuff in here before Hashirama's time. We got stuff for all the clans in here as well as forbidden techniques, weapons, and such. Finally, Naruto finds what he is looking for. And there it is. My Uzumaki heritage in a big-ass scroll. Naruto creates a small sealing scroll and places the big one inside of it, then looks around some more and stumbles onto the last item he was hoping to find. In the Hokage's eyes-only section was journals upon journals of each Hokage's time in office. Hiruzen had 2 of them and Naruto couldn't wait to find out what was inside. Quickly stowing it away, he leaves the office but not without putting everything back the way he found it. 30 minutes later, Hiruzen arrived back in his office to see his ANBU starting to wake up. What happened? We are unsure, Hokage-sama. We cannot remember anything except getting knocked out. One of the ANBU responds groggily. Hiruzen looks around the office seeing everything in place but still is nervous as he has a hunch who has been acting out lately. Get everybody in the council room at once. I have an announcement to make. Council chamber, 10 minutes later. The Shinobi Council, Tsunade, Jiraiya, and the Hokage were all sitting down chatting about the recent events that have happened the past days. The meeting was not going well as everyone was pointing fingers. Nothing was getting done. Silence. Hiruzen roars out, then clears his throat. Blaming people is not going to solve anything here. Now let's go through this step by step. The prison was raided with the root members taken somewhere. Afterwards the entire civilian council was killed, and later the daimyo palace was raided. Any similarities in those cases? Shikaku speaks up. Yes, actually, all were well thought out and some eyewitnesses saw what looked like root personnel at each destination. This meeting is troublesome. Hayashi adds his 2 cents. With all due respect, Lord Hokage, why are we here? The cases were solved, all but the daimyo's palace, of course. Hiruzen smiles. We are here to kill the one who has been doing these attacks. Inoichi squints his eyes. In concentration, Danzo is dead, Hokage-sama. The ghost of Konoha killed him. Ah, but that is where you are wrong. The ghost of Konoha did indeed kill him but used his death as a means to his own gain. Some snarls. How dare you accuse the one we see as a savior? We want proof on the matter or it's no go for any punishment. A new voice speaks and comes out from the shadows. It was Sai. I can help with that matter. Sai, please leave the chambers before I have you killed for interfering in a meeting. Hiruzen angrily states. No, Hokage-sama, I will not, as I have proof to your claim. Would you like to hear it? Everyone nods, but as Sai was ready to talk, a dark figure rises from Sai's shadow and plants a kunai in the back of his neck, killing him instantly. Nobody saw the shade clone do its deed. The council chambers were completely silent. They had no idea what was going on, but they did notice a note on the kunai. Hiruzen gets up and grabs the note, then reads it aloud for all to hear. Trust is easily broken, but revenge is a dish best served cold. The Sandaime paled and quickly stormed out of the chambers and into his office, the council, minus Jiraiya, confused on what was going on. Hokage office. Hiruzen barges in and dismisses the ANBU. After setting up security seals, he presses the secret button under the desk and goes into the hidden vault. As he rushes to the Hokage-only section, his heart stops as he sees his journals and the Uzumaki scroll gone. Right when Hiruzen was about to leave, the bookcase closes, leaving him in the dark. He knew right then and there he was screwed. Red eyes suddenly appear in the darkness, making his old heart skyrocket. Gone was the fake Naruto, gone was the real Naruto. Oni was now in action, and it would not be pretty. The dark, my home, it is the final judge when it comes to death. Tell me, Hiruzen, did you think it would ever come to this, Hiruzen growled. What I did was for the good of the village. Oni crept behind the Sandaime, and sliced open the back of his leg, making him scream. Oh, how I love the screams of my victims. A demonic purr echoes in the room, making Hiruzen sweat. I would like to play a game, 20 questions if you will. Oh no, please not that. The Hokage trembles. For every question you get wrong, the more pain you will endure, and the more satisfaction I will get. Maybe I will roll in your blood for sport once I am finished with you. You will get nothing out of me. Hiruzen bellowed and refrained from launching any jutsu lest he destroy a century's worth of historic artifacts. Naruto ignores this and starts the game. First question, where is my mother held? Fuck you. Hiruzen grunts in pain as he is sliced in the legs again. Naruto just chuckled maliciously and asked the question again. Again, where is my mother, Hiruzen? That is Hokusama to Yohhh. The Sandaime tried to pinpoint Naruto in this dark abyss but could not see anything or do anything in the Shinigami's playground. He screamed and held the stump of what used to be his right arm. Losing blood quickly, the smell is so intoxicating, I must have more. The Hokage screams again and Naruto pours an acid in the stump, making it bubble and cauterize. At this point, Hiruzen was on his knees. Without his jutsu and Saito Kage was a mere civilian. Naruto chuckles demonically, look at this, a petty mortal praying to its almighty god. Hiruzen gasps as a large, deep gash is sent across his back, almost biting into the spinal column. Please, no more. The Hokage was now crying at this point. Your mother is in a comatose state in the basement of the hospital. Not even Swanda knows this, please, no more. Hiruzen gasps, seeing the red eyes right in front of him, then gags as Naruto lifts the beaten Kage off the floor. You will gain no mercy from me, and I will allow all of Konoha to see the sins you have committed. I will dance in your blood, which will rain upon me. I will relish in the screams you make as I carve traitor into your chest, then pour acid into each of your wounds, making them permanent scars even after your death. Hiruzen says his last words while spitting on Naruto's face mask. Fuck you. Naruto growled, then slammed the Hokage on the ground, using shadows to hold the man down. Naruto did what he said he would do. For 30 minutes, Hiruzen endured the pain, the screams not heard past the bookcase. For 30 minutes, Naruto insanely cackled as he gave his just desserts. By the end of it all, Hiruzen lost most of his blood and was barely conscious. Naruto ended it by making a shadow scalpel and drove it through Hiruzen's heart. Following morning, the villagers woke up to a gory sight. Many screamed, which woke the village and drew a large crowd to what the commotion was about. There on the balcony of the Hokage tower was Hiruzen Sarutobi. A noose was around his neck and he dangled in the air. As the body swayed and spun around in the light morning breeze, everyone saw what was carved on his chest, his face frozen in pain and horror. Traitor. Senju Estate. Tsunade woke up to the sounds of screaming, making her slightly angered at being waked up this early. As she slipped on a nightgown and went downstairs, she saw something on the kitchen table. Walking over, she saw a note and 3 journals on the table. Curious, she sat down and read the note. Swanda. Hiruzen Sarutobi has not been truthful to this village. You might have heard the screams a minute ago. You will see the present I left after you read the marked pages in these journals. I assure you will meet me at the designated location after you do so, but do bring the journals with you as I need them back. I will give you an hour. Meet me at the hospital at 7 a.m. sharp. Remember, the Shinigami will always be watching. Shinigami Shadow. Setting the note down, she looks at the 3 journals and notices that 2 are Hiruzen's while the other is the daimyo's. Why show me these? What is in here that is so important? Tsunade sighs and grabs the daimyo's journal and starts reading the tagged pages. It took Tsunade 45 minutes to read the tagged parts of the journals, and by the end of them she was pissed. Foregoing her morning coffee, Tsunade raced upstairs to put decent clothes on and rushed to the meeting place, intent on helping out a long-lost friend. I'm coming, Kushina, and whoever you are, Oni, I have a feeling that this will be the start of a special bond between us 3 and the rise of a new Konoha, one which my grandfather would be proud of. What if Naruto is trained by Shinigami when he is a kid? Thanks for watching my video till the end. If you enjoy this content, then do consider subscribing to my channel, and leave a like if you guys need the next part. Comment down, and thanks for watching the video, and see you guys in the next video.